Mine eyes have seen injustice in each city, town, and state. Your jails are filled with black men, and your courts are white with hate. And with every bid for freedom, someone whispers to us, wait. But the movement's moving on. Move on over, or we'll move on over you. Move on over, or we'll move on over you. Move on over, or we'll move on over you. Oh, the movement's moving on. It is you who are subversive. You're the killers of the dream. In a savage world of bandits, it is you who are extreme. And you never take your earmuffs off, nor listen when we scream. The movement's moving on. Your dove of peace with bloody beak sinks talons in a child. You bend the olive branch to make a bow, then with a smile you string it with a lynch rope. You've been hiding all the while, but the movement's moving on. You conspire to keep us silent in the field and in the slum. You promise us the vote, then sing us we shall overcome. Hey, but John Brown knew what freedom was, and he died to win us some. The movement's moving on. Let's try last time the chorus together, Steve. Move on over, or we'll move on over you. Move on over, or we'll move on over you. Move on over, or we'll move on over you. Oh, the movement's moving on. I declare my independence from the coward and the knave. I declare my independence from the fool and from the slave. I declare that I will fight for right and fear no jail.
Zoran. Oh, I'll keep practicing.
I got you.
Mr. Mondami's right. He's never done anything, period. This is a man who
Mondami.
Mondami.
4 words. Turn the volume up.
Congratulations to Zoran Mondami.
The name is Mondami. From the Bangladeshi auntie to the parent stranger, say you for knocking. Fight for working people, no apology. Fight for a city that works for everybody. From Port Richmond to Jackson Heights, from Harlem to Bay Ridge.
Bring the flavor to the rice.
We deserve a city we can afford and a life of dignity where we can do more and keep on the lights. Make buses fast and free. Eliminate the fare, make them move with ease. Freeze the rent, build housing for everyone's needs. Child care and no cost to parents. Not a green when I look out onto the midnight skyline. I see strangers helping each other in dark times. We won with the most votes in city history. Victory shattered Cuomo's inevitability. The billionaires got scared. Work day and night to stop. Mamdani is Mamdani. From the Ethiopian auntie to the parent stranger, say you for knocking. Fight for working people, no apology. Fight for a city that works for everybody. From Port Richmond to Jackson Heights, from Harlem to Bay Ridge.
Bring the flavor to the rice.
We deserve a city we can afford and a life of dignity where we can do more and keep on the lights. Working people with fingers bruised, knuckles scarred, palms calloused from delivery by handlebars, not hands allowed to hold power. My brother, we are in City Hall. New York will be the light in the dark. As Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn. May our only regret be that it took so long. I speak of the abuelas, the aunties, the single moms. Democracy's yours too. Together we can respond. We will leave mediocrity back in the past. Make this greatness anything but abstract. Hope over despair, despite attack after attack. Refuse to accept a better future as a relic of the past. I know you're watching Donald Trump. Turn the volume up. To get to any of us, we'll have to get through all of ours. The billionaire class wants people to fight to stop. Mamdani is Mamdani. From the Senegalese auntie to the parent stranger, say you for knocking. Fight for working people, no apology. Fight for a city that works for everybody. From Port Richmond to Jackson Heights.
Bring the flavor to the rice.
We deserve a city we can afford and a life of dignity where we can do more and keep on the light. People started to learn how to pronounce my name. Hell yeah. Right now, it's off the top of the dome.
Every parade has the right to exist in New York City. I would ask
David,
you,
thank you.
Mr. Mondale.
He gave the finger to the Christopher
All right.
Columbus
We're gonna
statue.
have-
Disgraziato.
I haven't thought much about parades, to be honest.
Mayor should be going to all parades.
My focus is on affordability. I'm not thinking about
Well, you're not
statues.
answering the question.
Excuse
He
me.
gave the finger to the Columbus Day statue.
issues come up.
You know, I was shot in the back of a yellow cab in 1992. I tried to avoid yellow cabs.
Mr. Steele, what do you use?
I'm in the subway, buses, Uber if I have to, but I find my way around. Shot 5 times by the guys in Gambinos. I'm not gonna back down. I'm not gonna back down.
Excuse me.
My legal situation
It's a disgrace.
Well, yo ho!
And everyone asks us what it means. It's just a reflection of your dreams. It shifts and changes with the wind. Bend space and time to its everywhere.
Not war, just peace, forever, forever, forever. Decirle al pueblo de Estados Unidos, no a la guerra. No queremos una guerra en el Caribe ni en Sudamérica. No, not war, just peace. No a la guerra loca. No crazy, no crazy war, no. ¿Cómo se dice en inglés? Please, please, please. Yes, peace. Listen to me. Yes, peace. Peace forever. Peace forever. Peace forever. Esto se llama lenguaje tarzaneado. Tipo Tarzán sería sí, paz, sí, paz, sí, paz por siempre. Sí, paz, 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 sí, paz, 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 sí, paz, 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 sí, paz, 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 paz. Not war, just peace. The people United States. De parte de the people Bolivarian Republic. I do want. I do want. Peace forever.
I've had more dangerous encounters at gas station counters in the Walmart parking lot. But the smaller the man, the quicker the plan goes to somebody's getting shot. Kevlar and jeans, a mask and a gun and a badge for everyone in the mob. You probably don't need to shoot someone in the face to do the thing that you're calling a job. How's work? Well, they got us shooting women now. How's the pay? Well, there's a bonus if you're wanting in. How's the hours? We shoot them in the daylight. And then we steal them away in the dark of the night. Only the best and the brightest, only the finest get to put on the sacred mask. If you ever been fired, congrats, you're hired for this particular task. Now they'll circle the wagons, drape the man in a flag and say don't trust what your eyes can see. They'll say it's her fault instead for getting shot in the head when we all watch the same damn thing.
Government has abandoned you. They have ordered you to die, GI. Do not trust them. Defect, GI. They lie to you, GI. You know you cannot win this war. Your rich leaders grow richer while you die in the swamp, GI. They will give you a medal, GI, but only after you are dead. Your government lies to you every day, poor soldier. You have lost this war, GI. Your army will leave you behind. Imperialists make you fight this war, GI. They do not care about you. GI, your government has betrayed you. You will not return for you. GI, your airplanes bomb your own men. You are not safe here. The skies are dangerous, GI. They will napalm you tonight. Your pilots do not care that you are down here, GI. You cannot dig foxhole to hide in, G.I. Joe. Your bombers will find you. G.I., your helicopters fall from the sky like broken birds. They cannot see from your airplanes, G.I. They come to bomb you.
Welcome in. How's everybody doing? Good morning. Welcome to the home of Oliver Larkin's strongest soldier, Michael from Pennsylvania. Show us your hong, Mike. Oh no, we can't. We can't. She's out there campaigning. It all depended on me. That's why I did a fundraiser for him on Monday. My fourth one, or was it fifth? Fifth fundraiser. See, the thing about politics is I was doing it. I was the one who started fundraising for people on stream. That was me. Like no one else was really doing it. Like I'm the one who started that. You know, like when we would do interviews and then we would fundraise. Like that was my idea. Mike, your convo with the geese guy was fire. Oh shit, I need to promote that more. They forgot to message me. I think that you know, I'll talk about it in a little bit, but let me just say this. Nobody has to collaborate with anybody they don't want to collaborate with. And I do think it's odd that people who said that I'm an anti-black anti-Semite would want to collaborate with me. Like, either they didn't believe that, right? And so when they said it, they were lying then, or they're lying now. Or they want to collaborate with an anti-black anti-Semite. I don't think it makes sense. That doesn't make sense. Because if I thought someone was an anti-Semitic, anti-black content creator, I wouldn't want to force myself into a collaboration with them, right? It doesn't make sense. The other thing, and the thing that I want to, you know, we'll probably talk about it more later, but just, it's about the breaking of confidence / drawing in a politician into drama immediately after they lost an election. That is so offensive, I don't even know what to say. Like, Oliver Larkin put in over a year of really hard work. His district got gerrymandered in the middle of his campaign. He lost an election. And the very next day, you are quoting him out of context when they specifically asked you not to bring them into any of the, like, drama. I don't know what to say. I don't think, you know, and I just want to reiterate it. I don't want to collaborate with you, man. I don't think that you're trustworthy. I don't think you're a good person. I think the way that you treated Vio was beyond the pale. And the way that you don't give a shit that your words are used by the right wing, the fact that you don't care that these spaces are harmed by your presence is all the you know, sign I need to no longer want anything to do with you. Like, it's just, and the other thing, and something that everybody should understand about me is I don't gatekeep people, but I also refuse to collaborate with people that treat me badly, right? And I'll just say this, that's going to be the continued way that I act. You know, like if somebody wants to collaborate with someone that has done me wrong, I will tell them that I'm not going to collaborate on that. I'm not going to be a part of that collaboration. If you prefer to go with them, that's totally fine. But I'm not going to be part of that collaboration. And that's the way it's always going to be. And I would expect all of you to do the same. And here's the thing, you know, once somebody goes out of their way to try to destroy, you know, when someone goes out of their way to try to like destroy your reputation, right? You should not forgive them that, right? Like you should not forgive them that, especially if they do it in a way that they know that is bad faith, right? Like you should not tolerate that in your life. If somebody is willing to like basically lie about you so that they could get leverage over you, then you should never, ever, ever tolerate that in your life. I ask that everybody, and I would hope that everyone would have that same opinion. And I just want to talk, you know, this is not for everybody to feel sorry for me or anything, but I want you to understand that, like, this is what happens when like, people say Mike didn't want to collaborate with Gremlo as leftist infighting, right? But this is leftist infighting. When you smear me or HASAN as anti-Semitic or anti-black or anti-women or anti-trans, and you take those clips out of context and you use them to push an agenda and get attention for yourself, you know, this is what happens, right? LA mayoral candidate Ray Wong accepts max cash from streamer who made anti-Jewish remarks. You know? Larkin also appeared on a live stream with Michael Byer, who goes by the online name Mike from PA. In a social media post, Byer said his March 5th interview with Larkin raised more than $15,000 for his congressional campaign. Do you see how this is March 5th? What's today's date? August 20th. I didn't show up in South Florida the day before the election and try to take credit for the work that I've been doing for Oliver Larkin for 6 months. Do you understand? Jewish Insider at the Los Angeles Times reported that Byer was temporarily suspended by Twitch after comments surfaced in which he called Jews a demonic ethnicity. Byer later apologized to his followers. I despise and abhor it, he says, of adding what I said was wrong, right? Now, I didn't say Jewish people are a demonic ethnicity. That's just not what I said. But it doesn't matter because when they say those comments surfaced, it was something that Gremlo and his friends surfaced that was well over a year old. There was no controversy. It had been lost to the ether. I had misspoke. And again, whenever you're on stream and you're saying things, you're ultimately responsible for it. So I take responsibility for not being 100% precise. But the idea that I said something bigoted and then people called me out is just not true. What happened is they got a clip which is not representative of my views. They held it for a long time, and then they deployed it in an attempt to deplatform me. That is different. It's different from, hey, Mike, I ran across this clip and it makes me feel a certain type of way. Could you have a conversation with me? Because I'm worried about this and maybe you should address it before, you know, it is, we have this clip. Here's Mike being an anti-Semite, pushing it to DGG, pushing it to Ethan Klein, pushing it to Destiny, pushing it to the Zionists, who then got me banned because it, you know, it went on, you know, it went in all those places, and then, you know, Twitch had to make sure they didn't allow what appears to be anti-Semitism, right, on their platform. And so I got banned for 2 weeks. And the thing about getting banned for 2 weeks is you don't get paid. Now, as far as I know, I've never tried to get any of them banned, right? And I think that everybody should understand something here. And I'm probably going to mention this again later, but I'm not going to let this go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to let people who never apologized and who know it was a lie when they pushed it get away with it. Like, I'm not going to forgive you if you're not sorry, right? And I'm definitely not going to collaborate with you, you know, in a campaign that I have been donating my money for. Again, tens of thousands of dollars of your money and my money went to Oliver Larkin before they were ever involved or ever cared. And it's outrageous to show up the day before the election, demand a collaboration with me, and then say that I am wrecking Oliver when I've raised him well over $30,000, closer to $40,000 all in. That is ridiculous, right? And and by the way, if you're somebody who's on his side, I want nothing to do with you, because I'm not going to let my space be slandered, be disrespected, be treated like that. And that's leaving aside the way they also have treated Vio. I'm going to give VO the ability to speak up on their behalf about the way they've been treated by these people as well. And if you're okay with this, if you don't mind that every time I support a candidate, they have to deal with the false accusations that Gremlo was a core member of making, which he knew were false, then I don't want anything to do with you. And that's okay. We're allowed to do that. It's fine. We could go our separate ways, but it's not Wrecking. Wrecking was pushing these lies, right? Wrecking was just trying to harm my reputation and get me banned. And I don't know what else to say. Like, you know, obviously, if you watch my content, you know I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't push anti-Semitism or anti-blackness or any of this other stuff. It's just bullshit. And I will not tolerate being a part of anything with anybody who thinks I have. And if you believe I have those positions, you should not be trying to collaborate with me. That doesn't make sense. And now I guess electoralism isn't a waste of time. I don't know. I thought it was. And, you know, I don't know what else to say. And I think the thing that kind of bothers me the most is if I was talking about a leftist, criticizing a leftist, and then fascists started boosting it, Zionists started boosting it, you know, evil people started boosting it, and they saw it as useful for their side, I would block those people. I would block them. I would not allow them to use my, and here is his post, right? Digital ground game. I mean, it has, there they go. All the DGG harasser accounts, right? These are their top engagement. I think this is a sign that, I mean, I got to be honest with you guys. Have you ever seen me do something like this to another left-winger? Have you ever seen me do this to another left-winger? I want you, this is the second time now. This is the second time that Gremlo has done this to me. I want you to understand that if you're okay with this, then you make our community unsafe. You make the leftist space on Twitch unsafe. I would never accept the help of Destiny. I would never accept the help of Dan Saltzman or any of these fascists to harass a left-winger who did want to collaborate with me. And so, hey, what's up, man? What's up, Zalkin? Welcome in. We're just talking about some relatively irrelevant streamers, but I just wanted to make it very clear that he's okay with this. He is okay with this. Mike from PA did not promote Oliver Larkin's campaign because he has another streamer, beef with another streamer, Austin, who was also trying to get Larkin elected. This Mike guy is older than HASAN. Way to keep your eye on the ball, Mike. What are you talking about? I had another fundraiser for Larkin on Monday, which was what? What was the purpose of that fundraiser? To help them retire debt, to help make sure that their people got paid, even if he lost. Like, it's absolutely outrageous. And again, if somebody is on the fascist right and you're using them, I don't know what else to say. If you're okay with this, you're fucked up. And, you know, and there is no both sides here. I'm allowed to say I don't want to collaborate with the guy who did this, who helped push the idea that I'm anti-Semitic, got me banned for 2 weeks. Then when I was banned, people were saying, hey, don't you guys regret hurting Mike? Well, it's a Twitch stream. Nothing of value was lost. It doesn't matter. That's what they said. That's what Marxism said. That's what Gremlin, that's what that little cabal said. It doesn't matter. Now suddenly, a candidate that I've been working for 6 months out of my own pocket, I wasn't paid by Oliver Larkin. I took money out of my pocket, out of my partner's pocket. I went to bat for them. I advocated for them. I talked to Caroline about them. I promoted them to HASAN. What the fuck are you talking about? And I pay my bills for my Twitch stream. Do you think that's okay? Remember when people brought up Marxism having Oliver on? You said you're never going to stop from making money and you're fine with it. Here's what I said. I said to them, I want you to hustle out there. It's fine by me. But that's it. But I'm not going to collaborate with people like this. Why is Marxism being evoked? Because he's part of the group who helped get me labeled an anti-Semite. Can you imagine if they were being called these names? If they had to have these articles and reporters calling them? When I support a candidate just by donating, this is the way that they're treated? And again, this was not because I made some statement and then contemporaneously it was some sort of big scandal and I fucked up. It was some multiple year old comment that was out of context, not representative of what I was saying. Nobody even noticed at the time, but they sat on so that they could spring again because they thought they had me. They thought that I was said something anti-black when I was just repeating a Stavros joke that I had heard the last week. And when I pointed that out, they had said, we don't care what Stavros doesn't have the same standards as Mike. So I got to tell you, and I think for me, again, you don't have to like me. I believe in something called comradeship, which I showed to the Oliver Larkin campaign. I said to them, hey, I'll be honest with you. If we do a collaboration with Gremlo, my audience is really not going to like it. They're going to be mad at you guys. It's going to go poorly because he's mistreated me and he has attacked my partner. It's not a good idea. I don't think we should do anything together, right? Like, it's just going to be, you're going to look bad. Like, it's not a good idea. And when I say, and here's the thing, like, this isn't new for Gremlo. Like, Gremlo has always been this way toward other left-wing streamers. He's always been entitled, been narcissistic, been somebody who attacks people when he thinks no one else can hear, right? And it's been going on for a very long time. You know, I don't say that lightly. It's not something that I like to say, right? You guys know I don't like these anti-electoralist ultras who spend most of their time attacking other left-wingers, like, and who we originally had this breakup over the fact that they said that Zoran wasn't worth it during the primary. The days before the primary for Zoran Mamdani, they were saying it doesn't matter. He's not worth it. What are you guys talking about? Fuck you. Nothing of value would be lost if he lost. He doesn't matter. It wouldn't help the left. And so those kind of takes, you know, I don't know what to say. You know, I don't agree with you and I want nothing to do with you. I'm not going to promote that. And I disagreed with them on tactics. Now, I would ask you to consider whether I was right or not. Is Zoran Mamdani, has he been useful for the left? Oh God, Redacted rated it too. If you guys aren't familiar, Redacted is a DGG meme for me. They call me Redacted from Redacted because at some point, Destiny and his fans looked up an old blog of mine and it had my full name. And then they looked at my full name, it connected to the fact that I ran for state legislature. And then they looked up all the Republican attacks that had been made against me when I ran for legislature as a Democrat. The serfs, Lance, said, hey, you doxed Mike. Can you stop doxing Mike? And they were like, oh, it's not doxing because he posted it, because they found some digital breadcrumbs that found my real identity. They started mocking Lance and they started calling me Redacted from Redacted. So whenever you see Redacted in DGG chats, that's referring to me. So I raided into Frogan back, I guess, on January of 2022, right? So this is the context of who Gremlo is. Oh God, Redacted rated it too. Fuck. Now, I am a founder badge subscriber to Frogan. I was one of the first 10 people to subscribe to Frogan's stream. I don't know if you guys know that. I'm a founder badge in a lot at Live Agar. Like, I am whenever I see a talented left winger, I am there, and I'm there with my wallet to encourage people. I subscribe, I gift subs, I raid, I promote them, I help them out because I want to see more left wingers on here. Okay? That's what I do. And I don't ask for anything in return. Yeah, LOL. Yeah, LOL. Yeah, I saw clout from PA. I can't believe the numbers he gets. Holy shit, his hair. I mean, Destiny gets higher numbers, so it's not surprising. God, fuck, he looks like a hippie now, which is ironic. Fucking CTV gets higher numbers than me, LOL. CTV, the embodiment of Florida man. It's all right. One day we'll get there. Also, check out the drop-off. Fucking 400 people over half the raid. Well, Frogan is a woman, so. So, again, DGG memes mocking Frogan for, you know, raid viewer drop-off, attributing it to her being a woman misogynistically. And again, this to me, when I heard about this, it really rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, all right, listen, I guess every streamer does care about their numbers a little bit. but to use the DGG memes. And so a lot of people have said, Mike, you're falsely accusing him of being at least nominally aligned with DGG. Well, here we are. Here we are again. Top DGG people, Dan Saltzman, DGG, Jose Can't You See, who's another DGG aligned anti-Assad content creator. They're boosting his, I guess, crash out because I didn't want to collaborate with him. I don't know what else to say, guys. I mean, it's disgusting. It really is. And again, going back, Larkin had to deal with this shit. The Sun Sentinel refused to endorse Larkin because he worked with HASAN and me, because people have falsely labeled us as anti-Semitic. Does he hate you because you're bigger and he thinks he could take your slot? I don't fucking know. That's just a hypothesis I have. I mean, it looks like the motivation, right? I can't believe the numbers he gets. You know? And the reality is that this type of stuff, it just doesn't work. Being toxic, attacking other left-wingers, it doesn't work. It's bad for your content. It's bad for your stream. And I don't like it. You know, I don't want to be a part of it. And I don't think you should be either, to be honest with you. He said you threatened the campaign. That's just the campaign that I've been helping for 6 months. As a black chatter who was there for the BB joke, I saw you apologize and had a serious conversation with about it, and I saw how others took my and our genuine concerns to try to dogpile and cancel your stream. I was really disappointed about that because I was a big Sin of Marxism fan, but then he banned me from his chat for stuff that I said here, LMFAO. Again, it's about white men using black people's struggles to advance themselves. And it's fucking gross, to be honest with you. You know, like, I don't know what else to say. It's fucking gross. And then when women and MBs bring concerns to them, they call them hysterical, which is basically the same. It's like the original misogynistic insult. Hysterical, you know, literally refers to the womb. And everybody knows this. You learn this in 9th grade social studies, okay? It's not exactly some deep lore about misogyny. When you learn about women's rights in your high school class, you learn about hysteria. So, God, can you imagine me saying something like that to a black chatter? Jesus. And again, the idea that I have been anything but a major supporter of Oliver Larkin when nobody else was. Who was supporting Oliver Larkin in February? Who was giving him his first $15,000? And here's the thing. It's not good for my viewership. It's not good for the channel. It's not like people like these politician interviews. Like, you can literally see Oliver Larkin, 1.8K views. No one gives a shit. Okay? Like, it's just not good for the channel. It's something I do because I believe in it. And when when confronted, this is how they act.
And yes, I did address the usage of the term hysterical, which I do think is in the, you know, funny, haha, hysterical, because how many times have we seen major commentators, men and women, using this term? If anyone thinks that I was saying that crash out that they were having was because of their uterus, I encourage you to get your head checked.
Okay, so it's not, you didn't mean that she was being hysterical in the fact of like making you laugh. You were saying she was hysterical, meaning irrational. That's the misogynistic way of using it, dumbass. And again, once again, this is all flowing out of me refusing to work with him. Not me preventing him from doing anything with these organizations, which, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, Oliver Larkin was on his stream the next day. Did you see me complain? Did you see me say anything? The only thing that I was offended was other creators being on his, you know, endorsements page and not me, which they immediately apologized to put me up. And I probably should have gotten my feelings. I think I was feeling down because of Fran barely losing and not getting help, and feeling like people were being left, you know, mistreated, who had done nothing but good shit for the left, you know, and been generous. I don't have to do that. Like, most leftist streamers don't raise any money for campaigns. Most leftist streamers don't open their wallets and donate money for these low chance campaigns. I do. And again, did I have Did I have Ray Huang on my stream? I didn't even have Ray on my stream, and I gave her a max donation. You guys didn't even know about it until it was being reported in the LA Times and the New York, California Post to call me anti-Semitic. And like, for me, I don't know what else to say. We'll be live. I'm not going to hold back anymore on this and protect anyone. I have done with people deflecting and trying to flip this around. See you in a few hours. And like, there's a lot of people out there who have never watched my content, who have been psyoped into believing that I'm some sort of misogynist, anti-black, you know, class reductionist streamer. Regent Eric says, another black chatter here that was here for the bee-breaking drama. All this nonsense isn't even how the one teaches and organizes IRL. I found cynicism in Sean's chat. Slander Mike as some sort of a mega racist. And got banned from Dean's chat by confronting him. Later learned he likes to whine at Sean's chat like a kid hiding under his mother's skirt. And I don't think Sean and I have ever had a fight. I have disagreed with him. Sometimes I've been right, and sometimes he's been right. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I think that his senses of Graham Plattner were fucking way ahead of the curve. And I think a lot of us fucked up because we really wanted to have a charismatic, reformed chud running in a very white state win. And so we looked past a lot of red flags that we probably shouldn't have, because, again, we wanted to have that story. That was a blind spot. A lot of us made a mistake, but thankfully we were able to, when the real accusations came forward that were credible, everybody was able to fucking snap out of it, throw him out, and then put in Troy as a DSA endorsed main Senate candidate. And, you know, it looks like we largely dodged that bullet. Okay? Like, that's true. And I think Sean deserves credit for that, right? But when we disagree on how to argue some points or whatever, it's a disagreement based on ideas, not a disagreement based on slandering the other person, right? And so, you know, listen, I don't want to take Vio's fight and make it into my own, because they very sexistly, like, listen, they will say, like, the fact, like, when I talked about this 4 or 5 months ago, I said the reason why I decided to speak out against Gremlo was because of the way they were bullying Vio. And it's not because Vio and I have coordinated against them. It is, when people attack me, I'm used to it and I tank it for the most part, because I don't even want to give these guys attention, right? When somebody is toxic, I don't want to even give them attention. But then when I start seeing them punching down on someone that I care about, that pissed me off. And that's where I realized I shouldn't tolerate the way I'm been treated, because they think it's now okay to go and do that to anyone. And that's when I put my foot down. But I wasn't taking on Vio's fights. I was speaking out against what they did to me, and I let Vio speak for themselves. And I'll be honest with you, I think you should defend your friends and your partner when they're being attacked. The radlibs who pretend they're leftists are so DGG coded and disingenuous that it gets very annoying to have them in their spaces. Yes, because just like DGG, they're very aligned. Again, Gremlo could have blocked DGG. Right? He could have blocked DGG when they started boosting his statement. And this is the kicker. And this is something that I haven't said, but I'll say it now. This weekend, Vio reached out, and on Monday, to Gremlo and Cinemarxism in an attempt to just smooth things over in private. And they rejected Vio, and they attacked Vio, and they acted in bad faith in those private conversations. So this, like, post he made on Wednesday was in the context of refusing to try to do this stuff behind closed doors and in a private chat. So I want you to understand. So if you're going like, wow, I can't believe Mike and Gremlo are fighting in public. No, I'm not. He is doing that. And if you try to equate the two sides, it's like equating Destiny with HASAN. There is no equation. I refuse to collaborate with them, just like HASAN refuses to collaborate with Destiny. I refuse to collaborate with these guys because, as I said before, they have actually hurt campaigns. Like, campaigns have had to defend me. I didn't even bring up Francesca Hong. She also had to defend me. We showed you the videos. She got attacked by, you know, controversial streamer Mike from PA on MSNBC. She got asked about my views by Mehdi Hassan, who's my mutual even. And this is the only thing people have to attack me. The only thing. And it's what they dug up for an intentional deplatforming campaign in bad faith because they didn't believe I was anti-Semitic. So again, if you equate the two, I don't want to fuck with you. There is no fence sitting. There is no equation. There is nothing. There is bad faith guys who have been trying to damage my reputation and successfully manage the only relevance they have. Just like Destiny's only relevance is the way he's attacked and put together clip compilations of HASAN. Their only relevance is the way that they have done damage to my reputation. And now they want to demand a collab. Could you give me some context of what was the saying or the clip of it? The text you showed about Frogan really rubs me the wrong way. I'm not aware about the meaning of the term hysterical. Okay, hysterical refers to the uterus. I can't spell. The word hysterical is deeply rooted in misogyny. It comes from the Greek word hysteria, meaning uterus. For thousands of years, medical traditions falsely claim that emotional distress or physical illness in women was caused by a wandering womb moving through the body. So when Via was having distress for being harassed over these dumb fucking emotes, and they called her hysterical, this is probably the most misogynistic thing you could say to a woman in emotional distress. You're being hysterical. Like it's like there doesn't get worse than that. Like, I guess calling her the C word or the B word to her face, it doesn't get more misogynistic than that. It literally does not. And I don't know what else to say. They also directly said that she was lying. Yeah. People don't know the history. I think somebody who presents themselves as hyper woke, one of the good white guys, should be expected to know hysterical is misogynistic if you use it to describe a woman having an emotional response. This is like, I'm sorry. It's like saying, I didn't know the N-word was racist. Yes, you did. And like, at the end of the day, listen, you're allowed to not like my presentation style or vibes, you know? I've heard that autistic people can cause uncanny valley and feelings in neurotypicals where they, you know, I guess it's the way that we look or talk or, you know, I don't know what. You're allowed to just not like my vibes, right? Like, you're allowed to just be, you know, not like me. Maybe it's a little bit ableist. I don't know. I'm not here to police why people don't like me. Maybe it's because I'm abrasive or really confident or just loud white guy. You're allowed to not like that. It's okay. But to go out of your way to smear me and have it used by our enemies, and then when you're asked, say, I don't care. That's crazy. And again, it's happening right now. 21 hours ago, Destiny's groups start retweeting his post. And does he block them? Does he block them? No, he lets it up because it's the most engagement the post got. Because the post got engagement by what? Our political enemies. You know, for me, again, if I criticized HASAN and Destiny started retweeting it, I'd delete and block right away. I would be like, oh, fuck, I fucked up. And I would apologize to HASAN. I would message him privately and be like, hey, man, I disagreed with you, but I saw that I was being picked up by some right-wingers. I just wanted to apologize. You know, I know you're a comrade. You know, maybe we disagree on this point, but how are you doing, man? How can I help you? Instead of going, nothing of value is lost. Twitch is not real life, which is exactly how they act. And again, I have used my platform. I've used my platform for Francesca Hong. Day one, Francesca Hong. She ended up losing by 0.4%. Day one with Oliver Larkin. Supporting Claire Valdez, supporting Donovan McKinney, supporting those guys running for city council in Jersey City, supporting the sewer socialists and the Socialist Caucus in Wisconsin. There I was, day one on all those people, giving them money out of my own pocket, thousands of dollars out of my own pocket, showing people how we could use Twitch, getting into a competition with HASAN so that he actually fundraised hard for those people because he couldn't be embarrassed by me and get out fundraised by me, which is a competition that I intentionally set up so that he would feel comfortable asking his community for money because it would be about the competition with me instead of like making the hard ask, which I know is so hard to do. I'm doing this stuff because I believe in it and it's not giving me anything. Again, go look at all my interviews on my YouTube. They're my worst performing videos by far. It doesn't grow my channel. It doesn't help me. I do it because I believe in it.
Well, how the fuck are we supposed to do that?
Donovan McKinney, Hartzell Gray, me with the Cuban embassy, Kat Abagazale, Oliver Larkin, Jake and Joel from Jersey City, Francesca Hong, our first interview, Milwaukee DSA candidates, Ryan Grimm. I guess you're not allowed to like Ryan Grimm anymore. Garen Madison Jr. and Ryan Clancy, both members of the Socialist Caucus in Wisconsin. Jane McAlevey, legendary organizer. Like, this is just some of the stuff we've done. I don't see Claire in here, so maybe you guys forgot to post the Claire Valdez interview. But the point is, it's fucking gross. And if you're still parasocial with those guys, you know, I have to ask you what your priorities are in life, man. This is what the fascists want. They're so happy. I'm not going to allow wreckers to exist in my space. And I understand if you're not involved in this, if it's not your name that's being slandered, right? If it's not your partner that's being mistreated, maybe you can distance yourself from it, right? Maybe it doesn't feel real to you. I think all of us, you know, we all have to survive in this social milieu where we can't take up everybody else's grievances, and I'm not expecting you to. But if you're trying to both sides this stuff, when these guys have been reckless with my reputation, they've been reckless with Hasan's reputation, it caused real damage, and then they mistreated Vio, mistreated Little Bear, mistreated other people that tried to correct them and bring them in, and divided the community. That's crazy. They have a stated goal to sabotage any efforts you and Hasan make. Like, I mean, you know, I remember I heard that Cinema Marxism went to Hartzell Gray's watch party for the returns. And when it seemed like they might be turning against him, it was a close election. Drunkenly going to the front of the camera about how none of this matters and it's not important, and insulting the efforts of volunteers and the candidate right as they're suffering a tight victory, where all of us are starting to think about what more we could have done to help him pull that off. We were so close. That's the type of shit that is just not okay. What's this link?
Some of the drama we can talk about. Okay, ready?
I mean, I don't know. You know, a lot of those guys, they came from the Vosh orbit, right? So there was like the Destiny orbit, and then there was the Vosh orbit in like 2020, early 2021. And the Vosh people were very hostile to Hasan. And then when Vosh kind of like fell off as a credible person you could orbit, a lot of them glommed on to Hasan, but they kept their hatred of me from my sewer socialism debate with Vosh, where I said he's a fucking idiot who doesn't know anything, right? And a lot of them kind of glommed onto that. When I confronted Bo of the Fifth Column for being a human trafficker, and a lot of them attacked me for that. So they kind of kept their hatred they picked up from Vosh and Destiny, and they kind of have kept it. Because I'm not an anarchist, and Vosh is, right? Or at least he was. So, you know, it is what it is. Can we be more discerning with candidates? I think Kat had a very good chance to win. I just think that by not being DSA, that was the difference, you know? Wait, Bo is a human trafficker? Yeah, he trafficked over 200 Eastern European women, and he went to federal prison under the Bush administration. And when I talked about it, all of them attacked me. I want you part of the community. I've always worked for our community. I mean, I think I'm fine. I'm just pointing out that really at this point, again, welcoming DGG hate, Ethan Klein hate, welcoming this stuff because it's going after me shows you these guys don't believe in a goddamn thing. It's the same way that Destiny is working with Fox News, right? Destiny's supposed to be the big Democrat who hates the Republicans, but he's working with Fox News to attack Abdul and also all the candidates that Hasan supports. That because he has a goal of destroying, and much the same way Gremlo works with those guys to do the same. Who's Little Bear? Another great content creator you should all follow. And again, here's the thing. You either reckon with this or you're okay with it. Does this not bother you? Does this not show you they're on the wrong path? But notice that none of these motherfuckers will ever defend this type of shit, right? They'll never defend this type of shit, but they'll let it happen and they'll work with it. They're saying, no, actually, Mike is DGG. I was never friendly with Destiny. I had a cordial conversation with him for one day, and then he declared me his enemy, and I've been an enemy for him. I was never in Destiny's community. I was never in HASAN's community as like fan, or I'm sorry, in Vash's community as fans. I became aware of them, started my stream, debated him, and that's that. And again, and this is the final conclusion. Vio reached out to them on Sunday and Monday in private to try to confront the issue at its root and squash the beef. And they were unserious. They were insulting. They were, and I think Greblo even refused to respond. But again, I'm not going to speak Vio's side of the story. I want you to understand that we did stuff Saturday and Friday. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Vio, I'm sure you'll explain it later. I need you guys to understand that this public attack is attempting to use Oliver Larkin's name for their drama stream. They're scum. If you support Gremlo from this point on, I don't think we can be friends. So I just need you guys to know that. This guy is vile. He works with Destiny. He's comfortable working with Destiny's harassment groups, comfortable working with Ethan Klein harassment groups. He's comfortable with, as I said, insulting Frogan, using DGG memes. Who knows what redacted means? Except DGG. That is a deep DGG meme. I had to explain it to you, and you're my fans. Redacted rated it too. LOL, I saw clout from PA. Again, I am a Frogan founder badge subscriber. I was one of her first 10 subscribers. Clout from PA. I was clouting Frogan when she had 5 viewers. What? So, I mean, it was already bad when they got me smeared as an anti-Semite and said they didn't give a shit. Who cares about Twitch, right? Greb is trying to smear right now while being like, I don't think Mike is anti-Semitic, but that's what his statement was. Now, here's the thing. Again, again, the clip was like 2 years old at the time they resurfaced it, and nobody was talking about it. So if you had an old clip of HASAN where you think he might look misogynistic or anti-black or you know, anti-Semitic or whatever, would you post it and say, this guy's an anti-Semitic? Would you post that shit? Would you, and nobody knew about it, and would you pull that up and post it? Or would you, if you had concerns, reach out to HASAN and say, hey, I saw this clip, and he says, you know, I don't agree with that. That's a bad looking clip, blah, blah, blah. Would you do that? And so my general feeling is, and this is what I need you to understand. If you, you know, I'm going to continue enforcing the rule that if you work with these guys, I'm not going to be a part of it. So you can choose them. That's your prerogative. You're free to do that. But I'm not going to be a part of anything they're involved in. And that's just the way it goes from now until all time. I respect myself too much. And if you're comfortable with the way they treat me and Vio, then you're probably not a fan of mine or a fan of Vio, and you're not my friend. It is what it is. You're allowed. And if you don't like the fact that I'm saying I'm enforcing these boundaries, you're allowed to leave. It's okay. I would be more comfortable with you gone, to be honest with you. And again, this is not about punishing shit. Again, Vio and I have tried so many times to, quote, squash the beef. And it is immature, and who gives a fuck, honestly, about Gremlo? He doesn't matter. But at a certain point, but I do see them working extra hard to sow discord and lie on our names again. This thread went insane. If you need any more evidence that Gremlo is a loser, here you go. Literally just self-interested grifter and wrecker that would align himself with anyone if it meant getting ahead. It's gross. Some leftists just really refuse to win. Again, I've been again, and I want you to understand, I have raised over $30,000 for Oliver Larkin, and Vio raised, I think, another 10 grand for Oliver Larkin. And we vouched for him with HASAN. We vouched with him with Caroline. We vouched for his camp. We worked extra hard. Again, and nothing. I wasn't paid. I have barely even been thanked, to be quite honest with you. And I don't expect it, right? Like, I do it because I believe in the movement. I think it would be fair to include Greblo's response to DGG here. Don't take ownership of this like you are to DGG operation. You're all far more guilty damaging Discord and people's images than Mike is. Oh, yeah. Guys, the best way to like stop DGG from boosting your shit is to re-engage. Now, if you don't understand how algorithm works, I will let you know. When you consistently engage with another account, it associates your account with that account, and it'll recommend that account to both of your followers. It'll put it on their For You page, because if you follow Gremlo and he's interacting with an account, the followers of Gremlo would probably be interested in DGG, and if DGG is interacting with that account, that it probably has, you know, so you're basically juicing this so it goes in front of them more. If you don't want DGG to interact with you, you block them. How does he know that? Because I watched it come out of DGG while it was happening. Oh, I know exactly the time. I know exactly when this clip was dug up. I have the exact moment. It was when they were smearing me for the B breaking, which, you know, nobody knows what that means. And it was a joke that I was repeating from a comedian. So it's like, and again, it's a comedian from our circles, Stavros. So it's not, and again, so I apologized once I realized that it had that thing, because why wouldn't I? But I remember, and it was kind of fizzling out, and then they dug this clip up. No, it absolutely did. I know the exact moment, but I don't even want to talk about the content creator that did it, because all they do is try to damage the reputation of large left-wing streamers. So I don't even want to say their name, because I don't want anybody to even know about who they are. But they spend 99% of their time trying to smear left-wing creators, myself, you know, other people that I'm not even going to name, because I don't want them to be involved in this. No, they did not come out of DGG. It came out of them. Like, I don't know why people are like, I don't know why you guys want me to promote a harassment stream. Like, fuck you. You guys got to promote the Kiwi Farms stream in order to prove that they were the ones who did it. I know the exact moment. I know every streamer involved. There's another streamer who I haven't even mentioned. Like, I know everything. I know everything. Of course I know. I do. Because I'm like, how did you get this clip? It's not a VOD and it's not a clip. I went through my entire VODs and I went through all my YouTubes and I went through all the VOD channels and I went through all my clips and it wasn't there. How the fuck do you even have this? So that's how I know. Because I was like, where did this even come from? I don't even remember saying this. Motherfucker thinks he could character assassinate you and then become the pre-Assad stream show. He literally just copy-pastes Assad's talking points from the previous day and deliver it like shit. I mean, they don't know what they're talking about. Okay, anyway, that's it. I'm sorry for the drama. But again, it is what it is, dude. You're willing to work with DGG. You're willing to work with these scumbags. I have no interest in ever and working with you on anything. Is it drama? No, it's not drama, but that's the way people call it, right? Like, because my reputation is all I have. And these guys have been working extra hard in the spaces I occupy to make them unsafe for me. They try to go into HASAN space and smear me. Someone who I've been supporting for, what, 8 years now? Who I have interacted with and collaborated with 10 fucking times over the years. Who I watch on a regular basis, who I interact with. Why didn't Mike say that stuff about being a demonic religion? Honestly, I was going to respond, but I'm just going to do that. That'll be easier for me and everybody involved. 5 minute to go follower. If you guys are, if you're still like Mike, I don't really understand what's going on, and you want my opinion on my on those clips, I did a very long video on it. I got banned from Twitch. You can go check it out. Which none of those guys have ever watched, by the way. They said they wanted accountability, and then when I posted this video, they never watched it. They never interacted with it. They never boosted it to their fans. That's how I knew they were bad faith. Because if you're asking for accountability, if somebody takes the time to show accountability, you would watch it and you would comment on it. You do a reaction episode on these records, they're not important enough.
Our policies in the Middle East, getting out of the Iran war, majority positions. So I think these new candidates, it's not.
This is what Michael from Pennsylvania could look like if he fucking went through a shave and started wearing suits. I'm just saying, okay? That's my bestie. Build a bestio, okay?
About the DSA platform, it's about they represent actually views that are increasingly where the American people are.
My second favorite mayor of New York, after Eric Adams, obviously. Eric Adams is a very special place in my heart.
A lot of them are just good candidates, dynamic candidates.
So what do you say, though? There's a fear among some Democrats that they think that the Republicans will take these DSA members or DSA-aligned candidates and then put them up as a symbol and say, this is what the whole Democratic Party stands for. And they paint with a broad brush. And that gives them an easy line of attack.
I'm really sick of the hand-wringing.
Who's third? I guess we could say Zoran Mamdani is my third favorite mayor.
Motherfucker. As I said yesterday, if this motherfucker, all right, do a glow up stream for me or else be quiet. And it's like, they're like, Mike, cut off your long locks. I guess I have some like fairy hairs I need to clean up, huh? You know, like get rid of that hair. I do need to trim the beard a bit. That is true. That is true. I have been letting it go for a couple Couple weeks. It is a little loose. It's like telling Mike he should talk it out with Destiny. These guys don't have the thing about the like all these guys is the only reason I'm addressing it is because I care about you guys. And I care about Oliver. And I think it's very unfair to Oliver Larkin and his crew that they were dragged into a drama they expressly said they didn't want to be a part of. And that's the thing that really bothers me. And the thing is, we also tried to reach out to them privately, which Vio will go over on her stream. So I'm going to go and start talking about politics now. But if you want to know more about how unbelievable bad faith liars they are, Vio is going to explain it all later. Her side of the story. Did we cover how Angie Nixon captured the lower income demo that we needed to work on? The answer for why Angie Nixon won is because she won progressives and she won the black vote. And the moment that the black vote is reliably on the left, which is what the policy positions they already hold, if you ask black voters about their policy preferences, they hold progressive views on nearly everything. So if black voters start voting in alignment with their ideology, like they did for her, then the Democratic Party realignment will have occurred, and it will be a progressive party. And that is pretty much the way to analyze it, is she was successful in doing that. And why? Because she was integrated in the black community. And this is something that I've been saying for a long time, which is for progressives, for us to get the support of the black community, we have to show them the receipts. It is a community that is pragmatic by necessity. They are more progressive, but they're also pragmatic. And so if we want to have the support of black voters, it's not because they don't like us or our ideas. They do. We just have to show them the receipts. We have to bring home the bacon. We have to show them that we are more than just talk. And Angie has done that. And that's why in Jacksonville, her home, she got 80% of the vote. And like when we talk about, like, for example, Medicare for all, 80% of black people support Medicare for all parties. Only 11% oppose. And who support 87% of black Democrats and 76% of black independents support Medicare for all. Only black Republicans oppose it. And this is the kind of like facts that we all need to and this is kind of, listen, I don't want to speak for any other creator, but I do think one thing that I would say is what disappoints me about a lot of progressive content creators is how white-centered they are in their analysis, okay? The reason why black voters have not heretofore supported the progressive left in, since 2016 is not because white people were not talking the way that they wanted them to talk. That is white, that like the idea that if white, politicians only became more radical, that would earn the black vote. That's insane. That is misleading, and it's white-centered. The best way that DSA has shown to get the support of black voters is by being integrated in the community and by running politicians that represent that community. Chris Rabb, Daria Lisa, Nixon in Florida, Summer Lee, Ilhan Omar. It's by having black and brown candidates. And Zohran Mamdani, he struggled with older black voters. But now that they've seen him in office and they've seen him work, they've flocked to him in droves. He's won their support, just as I said he would. And the same thing is currently happening with Abdul, by the way. Black voters, they initially trusted Stevens because she had the institutional support that they are integrated with. But Abdul is now working and going into those communities and earning their support, and they are flocking to him. Donovan McKinney in Detroit. If you watched his victory speech like I did, you'll see that he had the support of black churches and the black community. That's why he was able to pull off that incredible upset. So, listen, I'm a white man talking about this shit, but I think the worst thing about the online left is how white-centered it is. It's not because white leftists are not radical enough on reparations or whatever that has prevented black people from supporting us. It is our pragmatic community connections and representation. That is how we make inroads. I'm tired of people making it into, we got to virtue signal more. That is false, and it's bullshit, and it's a grift. And it's a grift because it tells white people what they want to hear, which is that they're the most important people in the universe. Stop centering white people in every discussion about politics. It's fucking annoying. According to the New York Times voter analysis, Zohran grew support most among areas with more black voters from primary to the general. Yep. Mostly black residents in the general election, 61% Mamdani. Mostly Asian residents, 47% Mamdani. Mostly Hispanic residents, 57% Mamdani. Mostly white residents, majority Cuomo. And it's only gotten better from here. This is from last year. I'm talking about, if you look at the newest polls, with his support at 69% approval in New York City, it is off of the backs of black and brown voters who he has worked hard to earn their support. Ugh. Ugh. And fundamentally, the one thing that I will say about, just to put a final cap on the Gremlo stuff while I close those tabs and it comes back to mind. Expect to see more of them smearing. Expect to see them smearing more. Expect to see them get more deranged, even though everything I've said has been 100% true and factual, and 100% everything they've said is basically a lie, a motivated lie. And expect to see them not change and continue to lead into the support of DGG and Ethan Klein and all of our enemies, because it's the only place they're getting motion. Just like DGG leans into Fox News, because that's the only place the anti-HASAN hate is getting motion. Is this an AI thumbnail? Oh no. Hey, Hassan the Hun, I sent this email your way a few days ago. I think we could raise $5 billion to directly support Palestinian children if you agree to share the stage with the Omni-Liberal for a good faith, helpful discussion. Steven has already agreed to participate. Please let me know as soon as possible whether you can come together for an hour or so to make an important difference. I'm sorry, Gremlo. I don't want to collaborate with you. Zohran Mamdani net favorability with black New Yorkers. Last year in the campaign, -8. Then +14 in the general. March +30. April +47. June +52. August +63. This is how we make progress with the black community. It isn't by having white people like Gremlo and shit of Marxism act and posture as more radical. It's by having our people in office earn their support through our work. That's how we do it. Is Gremlo bad? Horrible, horrible, horrible guy. Horrible person. Doesn't care about anything but himself. Careless with everybody else's reputation. And perfectly willing to work with Destiny or Ethan Klein if it advances his, what amounts to harassing goals. Wrecker. And someone who I really would hope that you would not like. After this, to be honest with you. No point in collaborating with someone who is looking for the next thing they could use against you. Trust was broken and they can't win it back like this. They don't understand accountability or empathy. At a certain point. You should talk to Will and Caroline about Gremlo then. They seem to like him and talk about him often on stream. God. That's the thing. I don't like to do that kind of thing. I'm not like them. I don't like to do that kind of thing. You know what I mean? I don't like to go to Will or Caroline and say, oh, this person's a real piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. I don't do that kind of thing. It's called relational aggression. It's a form of bullying that young women tend to do, like teenage girls. It's called relational aggression. It's a sign of narcissism. I would never do that kind of thing. It's just not, I don't do that, which is kind of the point. Relational aggression is relational bullying as a type of aggression which harm is caused by damaging someone's relationships or social status. That's what they focus on doing 100% of the time. That's also why their streams don't grow. Because instead of spending their time learning about streaming and trying to study politics and history and philosophy and law, they're doing this shit. I do see Gremlo chatters smear you and Caroline chat all the time. They usually shut up when Caroline starts speaking positively. I'm a mod. Just at me when they're doing it. Just at me. I am a mod, so just let me know. I don't like to crowd other content creators, and always be in their face. I almost never see that in Caroline. I don't think that's true anyway. I don't think the idea that, I'm sure, again, I don't like to be weird like they like to be weird. I don't expect everybody to know what's going on with me all the time. I'm not a narcissist. I'm not delusional. Everybody has their own world and their own problems. And I'm not trying to contribute to other people's problems. I just take care of business around myself. You know what I mean? I don't like to do it. But when somebody's like, oh, will you please work with this person who hates you and has worked to destroy you and has harmed your family and your income before and is careless with your reputation and has made, by the way, one of the main scandals of Oliver Larkin's campaign was working with me and HASAN because of people like that, falsely accusing us of being bigoted. The fact that they aired it out in public after you clearly tried to keep it private tells me all I need to know. And Vio will be talking about it more. So anyway, let's move on. Friend of the show, Nathan J. Robinson.
Some of you
Fox
may have
News.
seen my recent appearance on Fox News that we posted on this channel. Well, apparently I didn't do well enough because they invited me back on the Will Kane show to defend Medicare for all, the California billionaire tax, and Zohran Mamdani's pied-à-terre tax. I think you'll notice that
it's not delusional to ask a friend to be aware of some shady stuff. Let me ponder it, man. You know, like, we've all got a lot of shit going on. You know, we've all got a lot of shit going on. You know, I would rather, like, I want to think about the next campaigns I want to help. You know, I'm still considering Aunt Angela's campaign. I'm considering Nithia's campaign. I'm considering Heath Howard's campaign, you know, and anyone else that you guys would recommend, and whether or not we can make a difference. You know, like but instead, these guys are interfering with my reputation after a campaign I worked 6 months to help. That's the thing that really is galling to me. I was helping Oliver Larkin in February when I raised him $15,000. Where the fuck were these guys? Thank you, Hall Booty.
Mamdani's pied-à-terre.
Now, of course, Cinemarxism is correct, which is not a statement that I deliver on this broadcast often. Yes, SRG is counterterrorism, as I said in air quotes. And for, you know, brutalizing protesters, I mean, they were prominent in the...
So basically what happens, chat, what's happening in New York is Zohran Mamdani and many left-wingers are being forced to deal with, like, the fact that some of our protest slogans have not held up very well since 2020, right? Like, abolish prisons and abolish police is a very unpopular position with most people, okay? Because they don't understand it. And so a lot of our politicians have been like, well, I don't really support it because it's a very, very damaging position to hold, and it hurts you quite a bit. But they've been trying to pivot towards more attainable policies while pushing for, you know, trying different phrases like tough on causes of crime. You know, Nixon said the other day, we watched it yesterday, but she basically talked about wanting to abolish private prisons and talked about, you know, focusing on the root causes of crime, which is basically what defund the police is, but in a more persuasive manner.
These issues, I'm going to ask you where you stand on defunding the police, abolishing prisons, and opening up the border again. Do you support any of those propositions?
So what I support is making sure that we have law and order in this country. And that starts with making sure there's a full release of the Epstein files and that we hold people accountable. It also is making sure that we have accountability for ICE officials who have murdered and slaughtered people in our streets on camera who unfortunately have not been held accountable and actually have been hidden, honestly. And so those are the types of things that I support. And I want to be clear, you know, I am a union member. I recently joined the Working Families Party. I also just recently joined DSA because there were some things, the majority of things that I'm supportive of. But just like I'm a Democrat, there are some things that I do not fully support within the Democratic Party, particularly those corporate Democrats, right? I don't accept corporate PAC money, and I want to make sure that these billionaires pay what they owe. And so there are going to be a few differences here and there, but overwhelmingly, what I care about and support are what everyday Floridians care about and support, which is making sure that housing is a right and people have a place to put their heads at night.
Yeah. So you don't support defunding the police?
No, I don't support defunding the police. I do support comprehensive criminal justice reform to make sure we are addressing some of the root causes of people leading into a life of crime.
Right. Willie Geist with us and has the next question. Willie.
Congratulations on your win last night. Let me just follow up on what Joe was asking, because as you know, now that you're running statewide, your Republican opponent, Ashley Moody, already is saying the positions of the DSA and particularly of you are crazy, calling you all comrades together, et cetera. So what about abolishing prisons, which is one of the platform positions of the national DSA? Do you support that?
I don't support abolishing prisons. What I do support is abolishing for-profit prisons, because they exploit labor and they usher many of our children into the school-to-prison pipeline. Why are we incentivizing the enhancement of penalties and actually allow the enhancement of not actually allowing the education system to be successful? There has been an attack on public education here in our state and across our country, and that leads to children winding up in the school-to-prison pipeline. I don't support abolishing prisons, but I do support ending for-profit prisons, which also, when you look at it and look at some data points, you will see that there have been a lot of people that have died inside of these for-profit prisons, or you have seen there's a lot of waste and abuse and fraud within these private prisons, for-profit prisons. And so those are the types of things that I'm against.
And what about another national position, which is the free movement of people, which the DSA means open borders? They say that's what that means. Do you support open borders into the United States?
I support a comprehensive and clear pathway to citizenship for folks. I believe that Border Patrol should make sure that they are securing the border. I believe, though, that there needs to be a clear, comprehensive, and compassionate pathway to citizenship, especially for folks like Haitians and Venezuelans and Syrians. The Haitian community here in our state contribute over $2.6 billion to our economy. And not only that, it's not only just about their labor. It's actually about the culture that they bring here. They are amazing people. And so there needs to be a clear pathway to citizenship.
So basically what she's saying is abolish ICE. That's step one. Step two, we're going to create a pathway to citizenship, which is what the vast majority of Americans say they want. In fact, a lot of Americans believe it exists. I saw a study recently where they talked to a bunch of Americans about immigration policy, and one of the women who is pro-immigration enforcement said, why don't they just go down to the post office and fill out their paperwork? As if there's some sort of paperwork to fill out to become a legal immigrant. There is not. So if we the problem of illegal immigration could be solved very easily and quickly in America. But it requires us to pass the laws.
Especially if their country is still so unstable.
I like the national platform as an idea, but God, it created such a massive headache. And for what? Posturing for other leftists? I got to be honest with you. I don't like it. I'll be honest. I don't like it's not that I don't agree with the platform details. I just feel like it's not appropriately developed. And I don't think there is a method or even an attempt to defend it. And since it's not a democratic centralist organization, it doesn't even make sense to have. I don't think we should have like a bunch of planks. It doesn't make sense to me at all. I think if we have like a national issue campaign, that's cool. But I just don't see the point, right? Like it. And furthermore, I think our socialists at office should also be part of the platform. It's like we have a contradictory organization right now. It's full of contradictions, and those contradictions are catching up to us. So either we need to become more democratic centralist, in which case DSA will probably split, or we need to develop a system for like an electoral politics focused platform and, try to become a party. Parties try to win elections. They don't just say shit. That is something that a think tank does, or a, academic does. A party tries to win power and popularity. And so we have this contradiction that is at the heart of the problem. Normies joined DSA because of campaigns. Now those campaigns are separating themselves from national DSA. How is this supposed to be efficient to grow the org? That's the contradiction. The successful campaigns are mostly happening from what people term to be electoralist, reformist, socialist chapters. But the national DSA is not controlled by that kind of group. And it's not proportionally representative. So when a chapter is really successful, they're not rewarded with more power nationally. And that's a big problem.
I mean, the Department of State has issued warnings to people traveling over to Haiti. And so how can we be okay with ending TPS status for folks if we say that Americans shouldn't go back there or go visit? And so I, again, support a clear and compassionate, comprehensive pathway to citizenship, as well as making sure.
Anyway, so she's killing it in her messaging.
I mean, I don't know why y'all shocked. Simone, you worked with me. You called me an OG organizer, so you know that I gets down, right? And so we knew we were going to win. We did not expect to win by that much, but this is just good old grassroots organizing, and you have to go out and talk to people. Organized people will beat big money each and every day of the week, and we showed that on last night.
Representative Nixon, could you talk about your decision to adopt the Democratic Socialist label? Because you've had a couple interviews today, and you have said it's not about the label, it's about the policies. But it was a choice to align with the DSA, and you did it fairly recently during this primary. So why did you make that decision? And do you consider yourself aligned with the Democratic Socialists today?
Yeah, so I think it's important to note I did recently make the decision to join the DSA. I also recently made the decision to join the Working Family Party, as well as become a lifetime member of the NAACP. And that is because those organizations are working hard in our communities to actually push back on these big corporations that are keeping us down and that are hurting us. At the end of the day, all of these organizations, the main through line is that they believe in our rights to voting. They believe in our rights to have access to quality health care. They believe in our rights to have access to a good quality public education. And so I am going to, join any organization that wants to push back on these big corporations and these greedy billionaires who unelected Ashley Moody, as well as Donald Trump actually, look out for. It's very frustrating because Donald Trump and Ashley Moody and many other Republican lawmakers in Washington, D.C., they are working less and less and less, and they're getting richer. And meanwhile, everyday people across this country are working harder than ever, and they're still struggling just to stay afloat. And so right now, I believe that what we're witnessing all across this country, as well as in the state of Florida, is people are ready for something different. They are ready for someone that is putting people first and not these billionaires, not profits, not the party, not politics, but actual hardworking people.
Representative, one follow-up on that, because I'm struck by the fact that you said you joined DSA, you joined the NAACP, you joined the Working Families Party. So did you join DSA? Is this about the organizing capacity and less about the issues? Because even today, like Republicans across the country, but especially the Republican Senate Campaign Committee, they are coming out hitting you as a socialist. It's not aligned with Florida values. But the answer you're giving today makes me feel like it's not about the socialists, it's about the organizing capacity. Is that accurate?
It's actually, it's actually about the issues that they care about the most, right? And DSA they didn't help me on my campaign. They didn't endorse me and anything like that. But I am in somewhat of alignment with some of their platform issues. And I want to be clear, I'm not in alignment with everything that the Democratic Party is in alignment with, especially when it comes to like the leadership. Hakeem Jeffries just stated that he's not really supportive of Medicare for all. I am. And so I believe that the Democratic Party is, however, this big, large tent, and we need to be welcoming to people who really want to put people first. And that's what it all boils down to me, is the needs of people and not just labels.
State Representative, it's good to meet you. I talked last night just after David Jolly gave his victory speech to be the top of the gubernatorial ticket for the Democratic Party. And I asked him a very specific question of whether a former Republican congressman can win on the same.
So Jolly, like, Florida Democrats have basically done the exact same thing over and over and over again, where they have basically nominated a Republican for every statewide office, and they keep losing more and more and more, and the Democratic Party keeps falling off more and more and more. And Angie Nixon is the first time they've actually picked someone who is decent.
Ballot as a state representative Democratic Socialist. And he told me, quote, "We're going to find out. She's a fighter and leaves it all on the field. She goes in every room talking about what I was talking about. Angie is out there fighting for those same values. I think she and I have very different approaches to this." I'm going to ask you the same question. Can the two of you win on the same ballot in November, despite being on different ends of the Democratic Party?
I believe we absolutely can. And again, that goes back to the fact that the Democratic Party is a big tent party, and we really just care about putting the needs first of everyday people. And we are kind of the yin and yang, right, in regards to who we outreach to and who follows us. And I think he's going to pull some people in that I wouldn't necessarily pull in, and I'm going to definitely pull some people in that he wouldn't pull in. And we can run as an unofficial slate, as an official slate, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I know that we need to make sure we stop Byron Donalds in his track, and we need to get rid of unelected Ashley Moody, who really is only looking out for her campaign donors, who also allowed $10 million to be diverted away from medically needy kids to help defeat two ballot initiatives that would have improved the health of many Floridians. But she decided to use that money to defeat those ballot initiatives. And so we don't need that. That is so corrupt. It is what Donald Trump is supportive of, and is what people are really tired of here in our country.
You know, the OG strategist in me is like, okay, she won this primary. You raised, I think, about $1.3 million throughout the entire primary. The strategist in me is saying the energy in the campaign is obviously clear in a primary. The general is very different. I'm wondering, do you have any finance numbers that you can share with us that have happened over the last 24 hours? What is the fundraising been like? Because I do think fundraising is an indicator of how many people are paying attention and wanting to support what's happening.
Yeah, for sure. So we are super excited to announce, I'm going to give you an exclusive because you are my good old friend, Simone. We are nearing $1 million raised within this 24 hours. And so we are super excited about that. We have the momentum to take us all the way through to November 3rd. And I am looking forward to Ashley Moody. Oh, I can't even pronounce the lady name because, she ain't doing a job. But I'm looking forward to her becoming, starting to call me her next U.S. Senator. So it's going to carry on with this momentum, and we are looking forward to knocking on more doors, having conversations with more voters, and bringing people into the fold with this people-powered campaign.
I'm from Florida and live in Minnesota now. People up here couldn't fathom voting in Florida and having to pick a Republican light on a regular basis. Well, now they don't. Now they fucking don't have to. And the thing about this that these centrist scum don't understand is that by having people like her and Abdul running, they are inviting people in that would never want to support a Democratic candidate. Because when you see people like Abdul and Zoran representing the Democratic Party, it makes a lot of people excited to be involved. That's the so-called sheepdogging argument, and there's certainly something to it. There is something. It is true that by having people like Zoran and Abdul and Nixon, Angie Nixon out there boosting these people, you succeed. They're likable, they have good policy, and they don't get beat up on TV with stupid gotcha questions. Exactly. I was on TikTok, and it's becoming a 100% Zoran Mamdani propaganda app. Where is the volume?
One thing that has surprised me is how willing New Yorkers are to believe if you give them a reason. And that reason doesn't always have to be the biggest thing you can think of. That reason can sometimes be the pothole on their block. I remember going to Rochdale Village in the final days, I think it was, of the campaign into the transition before I was in office as the mayor. And an older woman in the back of the crowd put her hand up and she asked me, will you honor the promise that was made to me? And I'm thinking like, oh, I wonder how big this promise is. You know, who said what, when, how much is this going to cost? I asked her, you know, would you tell me a little bit more? And she said it was a promise that there would be a speed bump. And it hasn't happened for decades. And I bring that up as an example that when people lose their trust that government can do the smallest things, that's when they lose their ability to believe that it could do the biggest things. And one small thing that I'm proud of is, you know, right next to City Hall, we have the municipal building. It was renamed after our city's first black mayor, David Dinkins, who is an icon to me and to so many other New Yorkers. And there's been a little bit of a secret almost amongst city workers, city bureaucrats, city, you know, politicians that if you want a really great view of New York City, you go up to the cupola of the municipal building. And I had heard this from a few people. And one idea that came up in a conversation with the team was, why not make this a place where every New Yorker can, in a time when it feels like everything costs more and more money? What if we had beauty as a public good in the name of David Dinkins? And so one thing that we did was we put in the money to refurbish that cupola and make it a place where any New Yorker can go for free to see a view of the city that rivals even that of the Empire State Building.
I love that. I love that. I asked Daria Aliza this, who of course won in New York 14, and I wanted to ask you this similar question.
One thing that has surprised me,
and like this is kind of the reason why, you know, I pushed sewer socialism in the beginning. What made me support sewer socialism in the beginning was that the lesson of and the experience of something good happening is why we are able to support further growth. Because if we cannot fix a pothole, you think we're going to be able to handle healthcare for every human being? If we can't make sure that the subways are clean, you think we're going to be able to build $1 trillion of renewable energy? If we can't make sure that children have safe and wholesome meals at school, if we can't find housing for the homeless, how the fuck are we going to remake society from the ground up? It's not a reasonable belief to have. And I feel like a lot of people who identify with socialism, they are oftentimes the people who identify with the world of ideas. Okay? They are people who identify with the world of their imagination, maybe even more so than they identify with their day-to-day life. It's almost like their beliefs are an escape from their reality. Socialism is not ideas. Communism is not beliefs. They are the process to change the world. That's the point. That was Marx's clarion call. This is a very important quote of his. Let me see if I can find a good, is this it? He basically says, here we go. The philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change it. And this is kind of the problem I have with people that don't want to get involved with the work that we're doing now. Even though it seems small, like elections or whatever, or campaigns. Because by doing it, we are expressing what the point is, changing the world. And when we could show that progress, that change is taking place, and the world is better and more functional, that is how we convince people to take even larger steps.
Come on. I said, dude, I did not say I'm a fan. I said she was my childhood crush.
Okay, hold on,
I literally said she was my childhood crush. And everybody's but nobody can hear me.
Mike, we're talking about important things right now.
Okay, well, you're live on my stream right now.
Oh yeah, what do you think about Nicki Minaj?
I think that she's probably the biggest fall off in history of hip hop.
Right?
And
right?
pop.
It's very sad. It's very sad. It's very sad. Okay, Freda's image is right here. I think I made mine work. 1 second. Mike, you got to turn on your camera, Big D motherfucker.
I got to turn on my camera. So, guys,
yes,
we're going to do a quick collaboration.
This happens every time. Every time. This is the fourth time we're doing this. And I'm like, you got to turn on your camera. And he's like, oh, my God, it's going to fuck up my system. Every single time. Sorry.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened. I was just repeating your request. That's all.
Let's see.
You know, like okay, you don't have to melt down, man. I was just repeating your request.
It's for the experience.
In aviation,
you know?
in aviation, we would do that. You know, you'll say like gear up, another person will say gear up because they're letting you know they heard you and they're doing it. You know, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry I wasn't a pilot. Okay.
Well,
Apologies.
you know,
We'll work on that.
I'm
We'll work on
sorry
that.
you weren't a pilot too. It's cool.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
it's
make
cool as
we
fuck.
gotta make this podcast extremely like financially lucrative because and I think you would agree, Mike, we gotta make Freda into a pilot. Too many times I tune into one of his streams and he's playing a flight simulator game. Like he needs to actually buy a plane. We need
It
him
would be
to buy a
fucking
plane.
sick. Oh my god. One sec.
I don't think
Did
that
we
you
drop-
guys, you know, hey, listen. The thing about flying is it requires effort and study and mental health. Those
What
are
are
the
you
key
saying, Mike?
factors. Those are the key factors.
what are you saying there?
I'm saying that I think you guys would do well. It would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, there's no problem.
Yeah.
Am I right,
I
Chad?
think I'd do great too.
Exactly.
No, but seriously, doing like pilot, like study stuff seems terrifying because you gotta fly one of those rinky
Wait, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you. Are we fucking co-streaming? What the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
This
Oh yeah.
thing?
True. Yeah. How the fuck? Oh, sorry. I just immediately started. doing it
Barry
for
is
podcast
trolling
mode.
me. Fucking Barry added me as a co-stream. That nasty little fucking. Yeah,
Oh yeah. You
motherfucker.
Something went wrong.
Sorry.
Try
Wait,
again. I don't know. It won't let me.
Okay. I am knocking on Freda. You can have only one active call-up request for channels that favorited you. No, I don't want to swap. I want to be with both of you. Wait, what?
Okay. Yeah. How the?
Why is everything
No, wait.
broken,
I think I
chat?
know. I think I know. Wait. I think I know how to do it. What the fuck? What? Paralyzed pendant plan. Thank you so much for 25,
again,
but not
try
now. I
again.
don't think it's competing. I don't think it's competing, son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
first I'm gonna add. Okay, Mike, I'm gonna add you first. Okay, so this thing pops up. Is it gonna pop out? Restart stream together. Okay, now it's you got me Twitch. Now I'm knocking on.
Three leftists before basic tech. I mean, you would think it would
No,
just
it's very
work.
glitched out. No, chat. It's funny to make fun of unks and we are unks, but this is actually not working.
It says you haven't been invited to this collaboration. Make sure someone in the collaboration invites your Twitch account or sends you an invite link to participate. Look at this. This is how I'm a sad
now I
ghost.
sent an invite. Yeah,
I'm a sad ghost, chat.
Check.
Like I'm
check
a pathetic
both
loser
Freda,
ghost who didn't get the invite.
Freda
Like,
and
look
Mike
at
check.
this.
There should be invites. There should be invites.
Oh.
Somewhere in your messages or something.
Oh, it's so fucking annoying.
They changed some regulation. Typical communists regulating away from.
So chat, let's look at my studio. We've got the infamous Romeo with pretzel picture over my right, your left side of the screen. Oh, we're trying to figure out these Are you sending another invite or no?
I got an invite and it's
I did.
It just doesn't let me like do anything. It just says you got an invite and then I'm like, okay, bro, Twitch, please fix this.
Okay, 41 seconds ago. Whoa!
Okay, Central Committee just joined. Okay, Central Committee joined.
Yep.
Start sharing chat.
Okay. I don't think we need.
We missed now on the hype train. Jesus, everything is going as bad as it can go.
Okay, so what
chat
are we
is
doing?
okay. It's not going bad. So now
it's
the
going
two of
great.
us are
It's
inside.
going
Now we're
great.
gonna get our friend Freda. Now we're gonna get Freda.
I'll do my best.
Okay, I'm sending one again, my love. Okay,
Thank you.
Central Committee. What did you click when you opened your invite? When you opened your invite, what did you click?
Hit accept or just clicked on it.
Okay, so there was accept.
On your
Freda
stream
does-
overlay, on your Twitch.
Okay,
stream
so
overlay,
so if you go to your stream manager,
yeah,
and you go to the top right, there's notification tray, right? Very top right. Right next to you, there's like your logo, and then there's your whispers, and then notification tray. And then you click on my Twitch, and then it'll say, you got
okay.
Twitch wants to collaborate. Click to accept. The
We're in.
oldest guy is doing all of the tech support.
Well, okay, but you're like the Twitch guy. Like you've streamed
Shit,
a
when do
long
I use
time.
this
You're a
shit?
veteran.
I'm a solo.
Oh,
I'm a solo eagle. Oh, we have a shared hype train. Look at that.
I'm a solo eagle. Did you just say that?
What does that mean?
You know,
I fly high and I fly alone.
world, in the Eastern European world, we usually use wolf. You know, a wolf might
Yeah,
not
lone
be a
wolf.
But
lion,
a wolf on his
but you
own is
cannot
gonna
fly to him
die.
in
A wolf is
circus.
a pack animal. If they're on their own, they're gonna die. A lone wolf is an ostracized wolf.
Yeah, but the
But Mike, when it doesn't suit him to say that community is actually very important and superior to the individual, drops entirety of communism under the bus. I am actually very proud individual, Einreindian subject.
The thing
Wait,
is,
where are you
like,
seeing the shit
with me,
available?
I like the idea of community more than community. You know, like
don't say that.
No,
Just if you think that, don't actually say that. That's literally goes against your job.
He wants communism
there's
for
no
everyone,
going back.
and then we put him in the gulag, and then everyone else gets communism. It's fine.
I feel like
what is happening in the shared hype train is Freda actually winning.
Wait, what the fuck?
Freda's winning.
Freda
What the
is number
fuck
one
is this?
right now.
Hasanabi Jr.
Where am I seeing?
So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to build up reaction podcasts again. Everybody, welcome on in.
Welcome
to the stream. We're building up our amazing collaborative effort. We just put out. What are we at? 25th episode.
I'm still winning, by the way. Yep.
Yeah. The 25th episode, we put out the one about Chad the Builder, but it's a grander conversation about right-wing funding, and not just about where the money comes from, but more importantly about the very intricate and interesting ways that having so much money every single time you say something reactionary, then how that influences the way you make content and the way you agitate in general and so on.
And how it like basically creates like a decentralized crowd-sourced like race war, because like
yes,
the more racist you are, the more like fucked up shit you do, the more likely people are gonna start making like GoFundMe's for you on like Gives and Go, like Christian crowdfunding sites.
The platforms are developing fascism. Is they have created this kind of systemic incentive to go and be a race warrior, as you put it, and as we talk about in the podcast, where if you just run up and say the N-word to someone, then you get a GoFundMe from Laura Loomer. And so everybody's trying to hit that lotto, but the effect is the greater and greater proliferation of like in-person racial violence. And then it's not going to be long before regular ass people start, anticipating white boy with a camera means I'm about to get the N-word in my face.
Absolutely, but also in the reverse as well, right? Like if you're broke and there's a whole industry where I can get $300 today if I just run around and keep calling black people the N-word, it's kind of a worthy risk for me if I'm like literally starving. So we get this almost meme level interpretation of what the future could hold. The type of boomer visions of where the internet could lead. In the future, the people that are going to pay you to beat up people, and then you're like, oh my god, that's actually happening.
It's like it's like a 80s like dystopian thing that's like way too on the nose, like some sort of movie or something, and then it's just literally happening. People in my chat mentioned a guy called Tyler Oliveira, who I'm not very familiar with, but I understand he's like one of those guys who goes and does like shock content, like films homeless people, that kind of stuff. And he used to just do like Mr. Beast style challenge videos, and then he saw the niche where he could make way more money and just went like full far right content type stuff, like join the content.
I mean, he's also brain dead, as are most of these like chuds. It is
these like self-described journalists.
Right. It's exactly what you would expect. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, and chat, what do you guys think about that? About the stereotypical right-wing grifters that are starting to pick up more and more? Do you think that era is like blowing up, or is it kind of ending in a way? Like, do you feel like, or is it a polarization where like a section of the country is turning away from it, but there is like a hardening core of the far right?
Good question.
Too early to tell. Well, wow. Amazing analysis. It's like hiring a lawyer and they say it depends. They have to do research.
I think that like this stuff was a lot more sort of grassroots and organic for a bit, and then the utility of this has become very apparent to people who represent the state, like Donald Trump and the White House. Very clearly have like propped up Nick Shirley, even though he's a massive, colossal moron who can barely tie his fucking shoelaces. And I think like that's probably what we're going to see more of. They're just finding these people who are trying their best to be social climbers and become rich influencers, and just picking them up and using them, discarding them when they're no longer useful, and then rinse and repeat. I don't think it's going away because it's too easy to do.
It is, but you see, like you made a very good point, but there's like a slight, like the typical communist, I'm going to say, contradiction in that particular scenario, which is on the left, we have this very sometimes overly aggressive instinct of hyper analyzing absolutely anybody who is trying to enter the agitation space, the propaganda space, the marketing space, the progressive voice space, whatever the fuck you want to call it, where we're like making sure that this guy is or girl or NB as perfect as possible before we start giving them any space in our attention economy, any space amongst other fellow creators that they can occupy, and any space from the perspective of the viewers, listeners, depending on the format, etc., etc., etc. And that has positives and negatives. The positives obviously being that we make sure that like pure out there grifters don't enter the space as often, but the negatives are that sometimes we misinterpret very well-intentioned fellow comrades that just want to give an alternative pitch towards the cause as grifters, right? So, for example, somebody making videos about Marxist analysis of Shrek. A lot of people would lose their mind and be like, oh, this guy just wants views. This guy's fucking cringe. We don't need another channel that is just doing media analysis from a left-wing perspective, even though he is going to be able to talk to, yes, a very niche audience, but still an important audience of people that really do care about media, who can potentially develop class consciousness and progressive ways of thinking and even revolutionary ways of thinking by being hooked by this particular type. So what I'm trying to say is we end up lacking diversity because we are very, very diversity of pitch, because we are very careful in who we allow to be a socialist agitator. But on their side, as you said, everybody can get in, which is really good because then you have like insane diversity.
There's zero vetting,
Yes, which allows you for insane diversity of pitch, not diversity of people, for people to understand. Diversity of pitch means diversity of like there's a right-wing argument. There's an argument for why you should be right-wing if you care about video games, if you care about guns, if you care about cars, if you care about skateboarding, if you care about fashion, if you care about big building, if you care about small building, if you care whatever. So like a million different points. But there's so that allows them to grow many different pitches. But there's a negative to it as well, which is everybody can come in. And then when everybody comes in, a very large number are in it just so they can make number go up. And when they just want to make number go up, very ironically, as a capitalist, right? They sometimes don't want to develop real right-wing organizations. They just want to make content because that's a much faster way for them to make money. For a more complex analysis, unironically, listen to the last episode. But there's a financial motivator for you as a right-wing commentator to an extent, sometimes even not de-radicalize, but not push towards political organization, because there's more money in me talking about Charlie Kirk being killed by the Israelis than in motivating the American public to go kill leftists.
But one thing that I think that like
before we go on with the next portion, I would like to inject a direct appeal to hear more of this amazing commentary on the Reaction Podcast Patreon. I think we are almost at 1,000 paid patrons, which is a huge milestone for any podcast.
It is.
So,
thank you so much.
If you guys could go and click the Patreon link, and I would hope that everybody, I'm gonna spam it in the chat, and maybe it could get pinned in all your various chats. But
let's give them a reward.
If you guys,
this on the spot.
If we can get to 1,000 paid patrons, what are we gonna do?
How many do we have right now? The exact number?
I think it's 942. Last I checked.
Let's say 1,010, just so I can be greedier than the American. 1,010. Fred, now that this is the bit where you say 1,020, say it.
Chat 1,020 actually.
Okay.
By the way, you can see my cat is going to town in the background.
It's funny as fuck. I'm getting distracted.
Yeah. That's Styx. Named after the river in Hades that all souls have to pay ferryman to cross. Because he likes to hunt. He likes to hunt, and he's deadly, and he's black.
That last one I intentionally.
Last one can be read out of context.
Deadly and he's black.
You don't notice his fur color. You can't tell if he's white or black. You're colorblind for cat coat.
I never noticed the color of my cat. Ooh.
Yeah.
I like how like me and Hugo, when we heard that, we just kind of looked at each other and we're like, yep.
Except when they're orange, okay? There is no correlation between levels of melanin in a cat and their behavior patterns, except when they're orange. Orange cats are something
I
else,
do feel like there is some sort of there's some sort of essence in orange hair color, which makes them a little bit twisted.
Now it's becoming anti-Irish as well.
I am a little. I mean, like, listen. I guess I'm probably more. Are you guys more ginger-phobic or more Italiophobic?
Definitely Italiophobic, I think.
Definitely Italiophobic.
Okay.
I might actually be problematic when it comes to Italians.
Italian.
Me,
like,
I don't
men
hate anyone.
Freak me out. Yeah, okay, never mind that. Okay, you motherfucker. That's a setup.
Listen, these are racist. See?
Yeah. But I wanted to say something about the like earlier point that Hugo was making with the funding
Before you
thing.
continue, sorry, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Okay, fuck me.
Yeah. So fuck. What do we give to chat if we reach 1,000? Somebody bring it up on screen. 1,020 patrons. What do we give to chat? It needs to be something impressive because they need to sometimes go and register or they need to log in. You know how difficult it is to log in the 21st century? Like those children in cobalt mines in the DRC, fucking little pussy boys, logging into an account you haven't logged in for a while. And then donating $6 to an anti-fascist podcast. Pretty insane. So we got to give them something massive, something huge. But chat, help us out. What
we need like what do you want?
I would love to say like, oh, I'll drink this bottle of vodka, but it's illegal apparently.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't do that.
You can't do anything that involves harming yourself on Twitch, and they consider excessive drinking to be harmful.
Yeah, no, that's helping.
A lot of
you have to remind you, like, if you want to understand Twitch's TOS, think about what would a Mormon think, and then that's the rules. You know, where...
Oh, did you guys see the... Oh, yeah, so go on. Sorry, I was just going to say, did you see the Mormon, like, Mark's quote or, like, scripture shit that was going viral?
No. Please.
Oh, okay.
Share.
It's just... No, it's just, like, some sort of Mormon influencer trying to, like, go out and do, like, hip, young people outreach. And it's like, is this a quote by Karl Marx or is this from, Mormon scripture? And every single one of them, people are like, "Oh yeah, this is like got to be Karl Marx because it talks about equality and so on and so forth." Very common themes in religion. And then the one quote where they're like, to each according to their needs, from each according to their ability. Everyone was like, "Oh, that's got to be scripture, right?" Which I think is the funniest thing because like that's the one Marx quote that anyone knows. Yeah, that's one like my middle school teacher taught me.
Oh yeah. Sometimes even used against it. Some chatter wrote, and this is a radical idea. I don't even know if you guys have balls for this one. So
okay, I think your mods want you to know that you've slightly taken the lead over everybody in the hype train competition.
In the hype train, but the hype train now is not important. I mean, it is important because I'm only leading by 1%, but the Patreon is what's.
I think the most powerful thing for us to do is to show how
2-1 against Mike.
Hugo's community
2-1 against Mike.
Hugo's community is interested in only supporting him, while me and Freda are interested in supporting the collective effort.
Literally,
which is kind of not surprising. Not surprising.
Versus that little guy
greedy capitalist
managed to win on the hype train. That shows that a show that is literally 7-8 times smaller can still beat one in direct face-to-face competition.
Wow, I can't believe that you're encouraging your community to give you money only. Wow.
And he is a Persian invader fucking walking in. And of course, Freda's like the Athenians. Well, this is a great allegory from 300. Mike is a person that
most fascist media ever made.
I know, that's why it's funny.
Yeah.
we are
yes, I am the multiracial working class empire of black and brown people, and you are the white.
The intellectual, just Freda's the intellectual looking on. You're literally enslaving people in a woke way. I'm enslaving people and being very honest. And Freda's being very intellectual.
You're slaughtering disabled people. Meanwhile, they can rise to the highest levels.
Aren't doing this? You think Persians aren't doing this?
No, they were.
Because you fucking Westerners are so racialized, are going to be like, Mike is brown, so he needs to win. Have you seen a Greek? Have you seen a Greek? I ask you, sir.
Okay.
All
right. Well, I think we've all seen exactly how problematic he is.
The prize. A chatter, like one chatter said it. If we reach 1,020 patrons, we live stream a episode recording. We just live stream it and we record it live. I think that
could be fun.
Pretty
Yeah.
good price.
Yeah.
Pretty difficult, but pretty good.
Yeah,
price.
because it's gonna be fucking crazy. Like, we can't be like, and
I'm gonna say that again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's no like they'll see through the magic. It's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like and delete that part, like where I said those horrible things. Yeah, we can't do that anymore.
Oh no.
And our
That's not-
producer is like, fuck yeah, I really want that, because like then she doesn't have to edit,
Yeah, no less editing.
just publish. But okay, could that be a good price? Would you guys like everybody write one in chat if you would subscribe to the Patreon for a 2-hour recording session of an episode and shit, or 2 if you wouldn't. Let's see. Please
All
write
right,
2
so
if you
right
would.
now we've just
That's a
had
good enough price.
5 new members. 5
Oh,
paid
yeah.
members. Let's pump these numbers up.
Thank you,
Let's
everyone.
pump these numbers up.
There's 2s. There's a lot of 1s. 1s are mostly dominating.
Wait,
Hell,
what
you
was it?
never know.
More salties.
Listen,
No,
we
sorry.
might like it. We might like it. It might end up being based as fuck, and we might start doing it once a month if it works out, you know?
Yeah, like if it turns into like a very different vibe of episode that we can do every now and then, that can be like a, you know, a less, I guess,
Interact
like
with chat as well.
Yeah,
Or even
exactly,
has a
yeah.
segment at the end where it's like
we ask
15
questions
minutes
or something. Yeah,
of conversations with chat. Fuck yeah.
yeah, like that could be fun.
GG. It could be very, very fun.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to make that a price? We might want to make that the price.
For
Or I'm open to
1,020?
any other ideas. For 1,020, yes.
Yep.
Fuck it. 1,000. 1,000. Fuck it.
He's so generous.
1,000, right?
He's so selfless.
Definitely not a marketing strategy.
Yeah.
Inflate and then you push it back. That's definitely not what's happening here. 1,000. Mike, what's your opinion? Mike seems afraid.
Ask me exactly what the question was again. I'm sorry. I was looking. I'm trying to figure out how I can.
I'm about to leave. I'm kidding.
Okay.
Price for 1,000 patrons. For 1,000 patrons, my love. You know I love you.
I feel like we should. I
For
feel like we
1,000
should
patrons
do.
is a live recording of an episode.
That's fine. That's fine. We could also do something like maybe we could also offer an exclusive for patrons. What do you think? What would you guys want?
A month. Well, an additional one?
No, just you know, maybe a one-time only thing. You know, maybe they could all talk to us. Who knows? What do they want? I'm trying to.
Yeah, like any
way
suggestions?
Wait
Yeah.
for us
No.
to send a link only to Twitch subscribe. No, because right now we're talking to Twitch subscribers, so we want to motivate Twitch subscribers to
Yeah.
support us on Patreon as well. So it's
Let these peons talk to us. Exactly. Through your voice as opposed to just text. That's so much more. I can like treat you as a human being when I can hear your dulcet tones coming through the mic, which I'm
You
sure
know
will
what,
not be blown
Mike?
out at all.
Mike, you know what? Both of you are on point. So for what? But this is how we do it. 1,000 patrons. If we hit it in the next, unironically, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, we said we're going to do the cold stream for around 1 hour and 10, 1 hour and 15. If we hit 1,000, you will get a live streamed episode from us. If we hit 1,030, you will get a live streamed episode that is going to come out as an exclusive Patreon episode. So this is going to be an additional, a 5th episode in the next month. That is the pitch. So 1,000 for a live streamed episode, 1,030, that is going to be an additional on top of 4 other episodes. So 1,000 live streamed episode, 1,030, 5 episodes next month.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Not a good deal. That's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal.
Oh yeah. Mods, link the Patreon if you can.
Yes, and now
They're
starts
asking for a
counting
link.
the Patreon. Yes. I have obviously won the hype train, so we don't have to do the hype train anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It does look like that. It does look like that.
Ironically, let's do the but the Patreon of because guys, realistically, our Patreon has grown a lot. It is relatively sustainable. We have a producer takes 10%. 90%, the rest of us split. We're very transparent about that. We want the producer to get paid well. We want us to also, in comparison to most other podcasts that can to also earn a decent amount so that we can dedicate as much time out of our other projects into the reaction as well. And so that we can grow it, so we can invite more guests, so that we can blah blah blah. You guys do the pitch. I've done too
but
many.
also you know, so that we can like improve the fidelity of the podcast, improve like how it looks, because like, you know, when you're paying very talented, very skilled people to make things for you, it costs money. So like, you know, some stuff is going to be funneled from the podcast into improving the presentation, improving maybe even like audio stuff, that kind of stuff. So like all this stuff, like it's going to get reinvested in the podcast. Like it's going to, like in one way or another, it's going to, you know, benefit the podcast.
It's software for the producers. It's aesthetic for us. It's an indirect motivator for me and Freda, for me to take off the mask, for Freda to show up on camera. It's a motivator for us to create a slightly different studio that is specifically for the reaction pod. It's a motivator for us to invest in this or that sort of like marketing approach, so that we can have more listeners, so that we can get more guests that you want to hear from. I think like all three of our communities here at Twitch, at least, are very based, and they understand that shit doesn't happen without money. And we also want to pay our mortgages. Like, let's be honest. So support the show if you like what it represents.
I think the one thing about being a content creator in general is you're trying to create not too much reliance on one platform. And I know in my community, I definitely rely primarily on Twitch, which is a dangerous thing to be, because they could decide one day that fuck Mike and ban me or unpartner me or whatever. So by having more of these projects that we're working on, we provide you with that knowledge, we provide you with those deep dives and the content, while also providing ourselves with a little bit more stability. So yeah, there it is. So
right
if you, by supporting the stream, you're doing a lot.
You really are. Now we have 944. Let's try to reach 1,000, and then it's also in your interest as the people on stream, because you'll get us for like an hour and a half, 2 hours with like relatively scripted, formatted, high premium content and analysis right on stream. No other fucking streamer does that. Literally right on stream an episode. And then if we realize that works, that can even become at some point like a once a month thing. So if you genuinely think that sounds like something that you would like to see, then go over on patreon.com and subscribe. I'm gonna pull up. You guys do it as well if you have the ability to do so, like the counter over on Patreon or whatever.
I don't know where the hell it is.
I think it's gonna fuck all my shit up, because I have like a problem. Yeah, I've got a problem that recently started happening where like my computer just drops the internet whenever I do some stuff.
The count is not accurate, by the way, because I just looked and we just gained another 12 paid members. So whatever that count you were looking at is not updating fast enough.
That might have happened like right after that. Yeah, you might have to refresh it regularly.
It doesn't. I tried refreshing the other page.
Great,
it doesn't work.
Thank you,
this
guys.
is not exactly. Listen, it's Patreon. It's a new website.
They've
only just
had, like,
recently started. They don't have very good. They don't have very good.
They don't have a monopoly on this yet. It's they're just kind of like a small bean. Give them some time. They're gonna figure it out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, let's actually have a conversation that's not trying to figure out Patreon. All right, awesome.
Yeah, okay. I want to say something that I was saying earlier, piggybacking off of what Hugo was saying in terms of like these reactionaries who are like, they're kind of pigeonholing themselves into a situation where in order to keep the grift going, in order to keep the money flowing, they can't really start to like develop a fascist organization. They got to just keep, being in that sort of like, whatever is like content safe and whatever like won't offend advertisers, that kind of stuff. I think that you have a very good point there. You're not going to see a lot of these content creators be the fascist organizers. Like even Nick Fuentes is not going to be a leader of any sort of relevant fascist organization. But what they are going to do is that they're going to influence a lot of people and like affect the culture in such a way that these things, at least I think they hope these things will spring up naturally. They're basically trying to just like influence people, unironically, to kind of like figure this out on their own. Yeah, stochastic organizing. They're basically like they're just, as you said, they're doing as wide as a pitch and as as many pitches as possible in order to hope that the fascist organization will come based on their agitprop. And I think like that's the real danger with these guys, because when they like prop up Nick Shirley and he spreads his like bullshit, like when the White House kind of like puts him front and center stage, he's a moron. He's not going to do anything worthwhile with his life. But a lot of other people are going to take those like conspiracy theories and use them and integrate them in their organizing. And that's like, where this stuff actually has like a very meaningful impact.
Completely on point. Like if a socialist agitator that does not push you towards organizing is just a guy making content or whatever.
Yeah.
So a socialist, the content creator that does not try to de-radicalize right-wingers and fascists is just making content or whatever the fuck. In my opinion, that is the only two like ways of doing praxis as a anti-fascist or socialist creator on the internet. Everything else, with all due respect, you're just making slop. You're making content for the sake of content, which is fine. I make slop. Everybody makes slop. That's fine. But without either fighting the fascists or creating communists, keyword organized communists, you're just fucking. You're not LARPing. You're just in it for the grift, or in it for the art form, let's say. But you make a very, very good point. On the right, it's not like that. It's not like that. You are continuously creating fascists, right-wingers, bigots, racists, white supremacists, fucking, I don't know, Hindu supremacists, and any category of fascists from any corner of the world, simply by putting it out there in the ether. It is there is a very strangely different relationship between praxis and agitation on the right than there is on the left. Because on the left, you just embracing ideas, gaining knowledge without application is, just, intellectual masturbation to an extent. While on the right, it really isn't, because they...
Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's what they're trying to do. It's the cultural hegemony thing. It's what, Bannon and Ellen Benoit and
Ellen DeGeneres?
all the way back. Yeah, Ellen DeGeneres. No, but it's what. Yeah. No, but it's what all those guys have kind of outlined as the plan. Like that is how they're going to win. Is at least how they think they're going to win. So like when you see these guys doing what seems like it's not really organizing or whatever, that's not really the point. They're not organizing yet. They're waiting until they're ready to organize. And they want to be a part of like these things that aren't like fully fascist, but kind of on their side, like Donald Trump's administration. They want to be a part of all these things because they want to normalize certain things and they want to push the culture ever so slightly until they feel like everything is ready for that fascist moment.
Beautifully put, yeah. Because the aesthetic, the aesthetic of the moment and the building up towards it is the whole spiel, right? It's I recently, I don't know, 3 months ago, did you guys watch I'm also asking chat, but also YouTube boys, did you watch the Mussolini movie, the Italian
the show?
one?
Yeah. Son of Century. It's so fucking good.
I think I had it watched in my Discord, and then I didn't get a chance to watch it. I didn't watch it.
Please. Give it your time, my friend. Give it your time.
I think I brought it up like on a couple of before or after an episode or when we recorded, Mike, and you said that, and I was like, bro, you got to watch it. Just
I know.
Please,
I still need to watch it. I feel like it's one of those shows where it explains the left in a nutshell, which is you have an accurate depiction of a fascist movement, and its biggest fans are left wingers.
Well, yeah, that is true. Like it went like fucking triple platinum on left wing Twitter. But one thing, the only criticism of that show that I've heard from some people is that it kind of portrays the Italian left as like kind of ineffective.
They lost.
True. No, but like as in like they portray them as like they're not doing anything basically. They're kind of just like sitting there and taking it. Is like they're very not militant at all. And I think
democratic socialists and Sotstems and so on.
Yeah. But I think obviously that is a very conscious act because they don't want to make it like, I don't know, like a situation where you could be like, maybe Mussolini had a point because these radical communists are like attacking people and shit like that. They're trying not to do that. They're trying to make it very clear that like yeah, the fascists are the guys walking in here and shooting people. Like
Exactly.
they're not showing the communists doing that, even though they were doing that at points. But yeah,
But
and yeah,
that
the show
was
is
like-
from Mussolini's perspective. Yeah.
Absolutely, and because you can't like really depict like how do I put this? I don't know. It's very complicated, honestly, to appropriately put it across. But in written or viewed media, depicting scale is absurdly complex, like absurdly complex. So even if you show 30 scenes of fascists scalping, shooting people, in the case of Italian fascists, attaching hoses to an asshole of a communist, force feeding him drugs,
Laxatives. Yeah.
laxatives, and then making him choke on his own shit until he dies. Even if you have 30 scenes of disgusting behavior by fascists like this, it only takes maybe 2 scenes or 3 scenes of communists proactively walking into the house of a fascist right after he had dinner with his kids, his fucking head blown out, to unfortunately make the mind of the normie start saying, you see the two extremists, the two extremist categories, and to start equalizing them. It is an incredibly difficult job for the writer, for the director, and so on, to adequately avoid this inherent, very quick bias that is born when it comes to presenting struggles that are very much so pointed against each other. And there's been a lot of movies and shows, I'm not going to mention any directly, that a lot of our, for example, like let's say ideological friends from all over the left umbrella, in my opinion, like judged very, very harshly. But in my opinion, like the writers just wanted to show that the other side also fought back. But in showing that the other side fought back, unfortunately, it gets interpreted that you're trying to equate the levels of terror and violence between the two sides as being on the same level.
So Revoked in chat makes a good point with like Inglourious Bastards or like any sort of like World War II war media, that kind of stuff. It's a lot easier to do that there, and it's particularly Inglourious Bastards, when they show like the Americans brutalizing Nazis, they are framing it in a very sort of comedic and funny and kind of like over the top way. So you kind of realize, oh yeah, these are the bad guys. We're meant to laugh at them suffering, that kind of stuff. But in something a little bit more serious, even though it is deeply funny, like Son of the Century, that wouldn't work. Like you couldn't show the communists brutalizing a fascist, because then, some people are going to be like, they're kind of icky too. Maybe, and then they're like, maybe we should have something in the middle, like, the King of Italy or something.
Call of Duty World at War. Call of Duty World at War, compare it to any, for example, Modern Warfare game in the Call of Duty universe. So at World at War, you have a lot of missions in the beginning that show the constantly rolling Holocaust of Slavs and Jews in all of Central and Eastern and Southern Europe by the Nazi regime. And then in the later part of the game of World at War, you're rolling through Berlin. And in my opinion, it's a very, very good game. But as you're rolling through Berlin, you constantly have this like moral dilemma of whether fucking shooting everybody that you see in the game when you go through Berlin is okay, or whether you are supposed to be quote unquote a more elevated soldier.
It's just like Volkssturm, conscripts, like NSIG conscripts or whatever, like people who have been brought up, like kids with Panzerfaust, told to like run at tanks, or are these like soldiers I should shoot? Like that's a little but that's a real thing, obviously, that happened. But when you portray it like that, then you suddenly start telling the player, like, should I feel bad about shooting a Nazi in this moment? And it gets a little...
Yes, you do. You see, this is the more complex point I'm trying to make. So if we did the same thing across all, for example, conflicts in the way we depict them in Call of Duty, that would be very good. Because, for example, if we were like, okay, Nazis did very bad things to the Soviets are now rolling through Berlin, are they supposed to just give in to revenge or not? But if it's only done in the one game where the Soviets are depicted kind of as good guys, but then also done in all the other games where, for example, Americans are invading Iraq. Did you ever have in the Modern Warfare games choices where you choose whether to blow up a house together with a bunch of potential civilians or try to breach the house and potentially, and always, of course, lose your own soldiers, where it's a big question of, hey, evil bad, big bad, but with casualties, versus big good, but with our own casualties instead of enemy civilian casualties. You see, enemy civilian casualties. I'm overcomplicating it. Why did in Call of Duty, as a metaphor for the conversation we're having, why did only in the one Call of Duty game where the Soviets were good did we introduce quote unquote moral qualms, and we never did it in games where Americans or British soldiers were the ones with a POV?
I mean, there's two answers to that. The first is that they're directly cooperating with the Pentagon, which is got, you know, in exchange for access and various other like assistance, they have the right to edit and control the content. That's number one. So it's like literally all these kind of warfare games, or at least most of them, they collaborate with the Pentagon directly. And it's the same thing with Marvel movies or any movies that show like American military forces. The Pentagon is there with its propaganda and psychological warfare units, ensuring that the script doesn't, you know, portray American forces in a bad light. And so, you know, that's like, it's a structural reason, and it's capital, you know, at its heart. And the second thing is like, you know, there's just old-fashioned racism where the only way that you can look at the world as it is now and think that it's acceptable is by dehumanizing the people in the global south who are being hyper-exploited oftentimes by either our allies or our corporations or something like that. So, you know, to stay sane, a lot of people have accepted the status quo as normal, even though it's an intolerable thing if you really think about it.
Very good point. It's the war is gray only when our sons fight it, but it's very black and white when everybody else has to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Then it's complex, you know?
And I think
then it lacks complexity.
Chatters keep making this point, which I think is actually a pretty strong point, which is that's the advantage of like science fiction, right? That's why we can watch Star Trek or, well, the older Star Treks or like Andor, and we can fully occupy the position of the like rebels or the terrorists because we've stripped it of the cultural markers and political context that makes people, you know, uncomfortable, right? I don't know if you guys saw.
I agree.
So like Andor is one of my favorite shows because it actually takes revolution seriously. Takes the practice of espionage and terrorism as a moral necessity, and the compromises that are made in order to advance the mission, and kind of has a dialogue with how that changes a person and whether or not, you know, it's worth it to catalyze something greater. And I think in our moment, a lot of people are not used to content like that or even arguments like that. Everything is very much power fantasy, wish fulfillment, liberal subjectivity, the individual's moral, you know, actions, and you have agency, and there's no sense of scale. There's no sense of danger, really. And we have a very immature politic. And I think that's part of why, you know, stories are like the realm of possibility for people.
Like fucking like very brutally. While in Andor they have more balls. Sorry, please. Apologies.
No. Well, I like in Andor how, you know, the heroism of those people who kind of started the rebellion is almost lost in the sauce. And something very similar has happened time and time again throughout history, where very rarely, you know, you learn about the people that promote themselves the best, not the people that did the most. Which is always part of what makes this content so devoid of verisimilitude, or why it's such slop, is they're not comfortable with adult stories. And so I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw it, but the Chinese were putting out a film from the perspective of like a Chinese family who opened a Chinese restaurant in Iraq during the invasion. Have you guys seen this?
I've not seen that, no.
Oh, no. I know they're making a game about revolution, about fight against the Japanese and shit, but not the movie. No.
It is called Once Upon a Time in the Middle East, which is about the head of a Chinese restaurant in the Middle East running the Dragon restaurant right as the Iraq War happened. So this is a movie that I'm really interested in checking out. Seems like it's being really well, critically received quite well. And, I think it would be awesome to have America's like monopoly on storytelling broken a bit.
Culture in general, yeah.
Because I feel
like good for Americans as well.
Like America's strongest power is our soft power, our ability to control the conversation, the assumptions, the way that we can put, the red, white, and blue is always in the hands of the hero. And that has psyoped like a lot of people, like even people in the countries that we're bombing. They're psyoped by our media into believing that there's an America out there that cares about them, which is not at all the way we operate.
Look at our show. 90% of all right-wing figures we covered are Yanks. And I had like often in my chat, not just here on the Discord, by the way, you can get the Reaction Pod Discord access. It's a very lovely community as well when you join. People being like, oh my God, that's so fucking cool. You're talking about the German right. Oh my God, that's so fucking cool. You're talking about Dugin. Oh, I'm fucking finally. So, people are starved for POVs, even POVs of filthy reactionary dogs that are not just American reactionary dogs, and so on and so on. So
by the way, like I want to say to the chatters, if you know like content creators who are based in other countries around the world who would potentially be open to guesting on the podcast, who can tell us about like the the reactionary online ecosystem in their countries, we would love to have them, because we need some of that stuff being communicated a little bit better, because things are becoming very, very Americanized. And I don't think a lot of people are realizing, like, especially like Americans and like Anglosphere people are realizing how insanely fucking Americanized everything is getting. And also, of course, it will help us like learn more about what's happening in their countries. Is it good, Hugo?
It's fantastic. But no, what Freda said is absolutely on point. How many, Mike? How many do we have, or is like Twitch chat, I guess, very anti-Patreon pilled? Did we have like any increase? Because I think the reward.
I think we did.
Guys, the reward is really good.
We did. We really did.
Imagine how cool that would be. We did. Okay.
I think I don't know if we're quite there, but we've gotten some Patreon members, and I want to thank all of you guys who have joined. I really do appreciate it. It is awesome, and what we need to do is figure out a way to integrate it better into the stream. Make it easier for people to join the Patreon. We need a one-click solution. That would be my suggestion. Or maybe we could figure out a way of setting up a gifting program so people could sign up for the Patreon, and then maybe we could do like some gifts.
I think it exists as an option or something. Am I?
Yeah, I think.
Why don't we look into that? Why don't we look into that?
Yeah. If you're a patron, you can gift, but I think the other person needs to have a Patreon account. So like Patreon does not make it easy on us
at all.
Yeah.
Neither does Twitch. Like Twitch doesn't want you giving money to Patreon. They look at each other as competition.
That's right.
And shit. And probably this is tanking our algo like crazy right now for the stream itself as well. But you're talking about it, definitely. But God bless.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
it's much more difficult to fund a podcast than it is a stream. But they are different animals. That's why we're trying to use as many platforms as possible, so that all of our different mediums kind of feed off of each other like a snake, so that as we can have as many different fronts that we attack either the fascists or non-class conscious people as we can. Yes, brother Mike.
Yeah.
Well,
brother Mike sounded.
What would you like,
brother Mike?
Well, yeah, I know. I've had a blast with you guys on. It's been awesome. What should we tell people to check out from our most recent episode? Check out the Reaction Podcast. What are you guys proudest of? What episode did you like the most?
If you want like non-American stuff, please check out the Alexander Dugin episode, because I think that one is like really fucking fascinating and fun.
What, the one I missed?
That's like one of mine. Yep. Sorry.
The one I wasn't on? That's the
somehow
one
makes
you're
the one episode
recommending?
He's not on about himself. It's incredible.
Fred is like, the
Daddy
one
will
where I
spank
talk
you, Mike.
more.
Daddy will spank you.
The one I get to talk the most.
The
Yeah,
one I talk the most about.
Spank him.
Yeah, that's
Spank
the
him.
one. Yeah, you should check out.
I think you
Daddy
guys
is
should
angry.
definitely check
Mom
out
needs to spank him.
the one that I think is really, really good is the Tradcasts. Because we really take deep dives
That's very good.
into like contextualizing what is going to be the next evolution of American right. I actually think that there's going to be a fissure in the American right based off of the evangelical versus Catholic far right. And the evangelical far right, they're all mega Zionists. And the Catholic far right are old school anti-Semites. And so I feel like with the unpopularity of the Iran war, of the genocide in Gaza, that the far right Catholic right is going to start to assert itself and become more and more important in American society, and kind of like old anti-Semitism is going to make a comeback. So the Tradcath episode, very important to kind of get a sense of where J.D. Vance, Nick Fuentes, and the rest of these guys are going to be taking our country. I don't know,
And
old school
from
Catholics
me, I
hated Jews.
think
Yes, they did. And in fact, we talk about it a bit, which is the Vatican II was the moment where the Catholic Church formally said, like, hey, we don't hate Jews. We don't blame them collectively for the crucifixion of Jesus. We're going to have an ecumenical approach.
Yeah,
And
a
that's
lot
why
of people
all
got
these
really mad
Tradcasts
about
got
that.
mad.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
No, people are going to get mad at me now, like, because everybody's like, "Oh my God, OG anti-Semites, Catholics." Can I introduce to you every religious denomination inside of Europe and the Middle East ever? So, like, I can't believe I'm doing Catholicism defending right now, but every religion, I'm not talking Christian denomination, every religious denomination you can think of that's, I don't know, east of China and, west of China and west of Armenia, okay? Everybody did it, okay? Everybody did it. But my favorite episode was, and a chatter said it, and they were like, am I the only one? And then a bunch of chatters replied by saying, yes, you are. And then some said, no, you're not. The Wow Mao episode. That was pure shitpost. We need more shitpost episodes. We take ourselves
really
too serious.
funny, yeah.
It was really funny. The guy just walked in. I wish I had a vape right now. He just walked in and like his entire plan for the episode was just to drop hot takes. That was it. Like that was it. Everybody else comes like hyper prepared, like, oh my God. He's just like hot takes. Like it was.
He showed up immediately, fucking hit the Benjamin right into the camera, and then was like, "Sup?" Like that was how he joined the call.
Completely goated. Now you see why it took 7 months to make a single video with this man. That's where he's based. That's where.
Well, what should our last calls of action be to force these motherfuckers, to subscribe to the Patreon?
I feel like I'm grifting too much, and I fucking hate it. But
listen, I'm just trying to get Toasty paid. That's why I feel comfortable, because it's not really me. It's more about getting Patreon up to that level where we feel like we have good support. Good support for the editor, which is the unseen hero.
Yeah, I mean the episodes would not happen without Ann Toasty in chat. Our editor or a producer, I guess is like the actual term for it, who literally kind of decides what we say gets out there, which is incredible power she holds over us. And so we need to make sure she's paid well and kept happy and sane, because otherwise we can get in trouble.
And it's not like you don't get you got the emotional pitch, you got the communist pitch, and I'll just give you the capitalist pitch. It's not like you don't get insane fucking amounts of content for it. Like literally 50% of the episodes are Patreon exclusive. 25% of every interview episode is Patreon exclusive. I can't think of. I run another podcast that has fucking 17 times more patrons or whatever than this one, and it doesn't give you as much as this one gives you. When it comes to what you get for your money, this is there's no podcast that gives patrons that I've seen that gives patrons as much fucking content.
So what are we gonna have? Some of your old. What's our next guest gonna be, Chad? Who would you like to see on? as our next patron guest.
TrueAnon. I'm working on TrueAnon. He's birthing a child. So
I didn't know he was pregnant.
Yes. No, they are pregnant. Okay. He's married and they are birthing a child. So I'm trying to work him in. Zizek, I'm going to fucking kill myself. JT, I am going to work on. It's just my 2 children. So I have 2 children from 2 different mothers. So like time needs to pass. They need to become teenagers before they start interacting, right? Denim, Stalin, Kaya, Ethan Klein is a great idea. Hakeem as well. Hakeem will have JT and Hakeem. I just need my 2 children to grow up. They can't talk yet because 2 different.
Oh yeah, Dan from Knowledge Fight. That would be cool.
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
A Brexit
sounds
geezer.
great.
Who's that?
We need a Brexit geezer. Oh no.
Count Binface.
Count Bin. Can we stop with the count? He lost horribly.
Yeah,
he's kind of a fucking lib. I wasn't trying to ruin people's fun.
Really, really smart, but isn't he like post left or something now? I need to check on One Time. One Time is like really, 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 really smart. But isn't he like post left or something?
I feel like there's this kind of I don't know. I would call it the Bernie 2020 hangover, where a lot of people got starry-eyed during it and they thought we were about to win everything. And then when we got pantsed, they're like, I'll never believe in any election ever again. You know what I mean? And so there's this kind of dour way of approaching it because they were so pro-electoralism. They can't adopt a kind of optimistic halfway step where you look at it and you see it as a reflection of the like class consciousness is developing and it's starting to express itself through these, admittedly social democratic DSA, whatever. Those candidates represent, the process of which class consciousness is occurring. And when we critically support those efforts, we are kind of just supporting the masses' own self-awareness growing. It's not that we think Zohran Mamdani is going to push the communism button. It's that by Zohran Mamdani winning, socialism being normalized, progress seeming to be made to the masses, their trust in us grows, their consciousness grows, and then more and more radical politics will develop, more and more concessions will be demanded. It's the ball or the snowball rolling downhill and picking up more momentum as opposed to just popping into existence at the bottom of the hill. That's the way I look at it.
No, everybody serious looks at it. Like everybody from across the very, very diverse ideological spectrum of the so-called left. Everybody does. Now, this is something I put my full heart and opinion behind, and I'm sure that Fred is the same.
But before we go, I do want to ask though, is our next guest confirmed? Should we tease that? Should we mention who the next guest is, or the one that's for potentially September, isn't it?
Next guest. Maybe we'll get one before that. But
possibly.
But that one is also birthing a child.
Oh fuck!
Why is everybody on the left having children? I thought you were all anti-natalists.
I thought that the right wing is all about white children. Meanwhile, the left is printing like 700 babies an hour. Biracial, non-biracial.
Where's the post about these guys?
Marriages. You getting married.
You want me to drop a nuclear take?
We're in cis straight relationships, insane, dude. That's my favorite rant of all time. Because he genuinely looks mind blown. From your part of the world, my brother Freda. You see now I'm making into a sect. I'm calling them brother.
Okay,
brother Freda. The metal guy Nazi who killed his.
Weakness, yeah.
He had one stream that is I think still on YouTube, clipped. Mike, I don't know if you know about this, where he's just depressed because he's like I keep talking to these right wingers about needing more children and family values and all of them just live in basements, and then I see leftists on a protest and it's families with 3 children and they're holding hands and he's like, what the
why that's meant to be us.
Well, that's because I have the ultimate nuclear take, which is socialism is the only real conservatism, which is we value humanity and we value we're humanist, which is inherently kind of protecting protecting us, the species. Whereas all the right-wing ideologies are now spinning off into these post-human, ultra fascist, exterminationist.
The
Techno
right wingers' new baby is a data center.
Like they want to kill human beings and replace them with AI and drones, and they want to have they want to remove the proletariat. They want to annihilate the proletariat and replace it with robots, and they want to live on Elysium while the planet burns. And so socialists are the only one who want to live. Eco-socialism is the only people who want to preserve the natural world and serve the interests of humanity and make sure that all our technology is aligned with our interests, which is truly and innately conservative in a way that the right has totally abandoned. This is my truth news.
I'm going to steal that so hard. Thank you so much. That contextualization is fucking brilliant. I rarely give compliments. That is actually really fucking good.
So that's the truth, Duke. We are the only conservatives left, the real conservatives.
You think you're conservative and you want a motherfucking clanker fucking driving your car, you filthy fucking motherfucker type shit.
Like,
right?
and you could see them doing the accelerationism, as we speak. Like they don't give a fuck, and they think of you as scum, and they want to kill you. It is what it is. All right, on that cheery note, that's why you should subscribe to the Patreon, a reaction podcast where we have the best analysis.
Do. If you support any of us individually, it's a great place if we get banned from here for us to be able to continue our work. If you think that, I don't know, maybe fascism is a problem, it's a great place. If you think there should be a podcast that you can both listen to yourself as a class conscious, like socialist or communist or anarchist and so on, but that you can also send to your fucking imbecile cousin that thinks that, I don't know, Mexicans should be shot, then it's a project to invest in. Let's develop it. Let's get Toasty Android, who's our producer, fucking paid. Let's get Freda an airplane because he always wanted to be a pilot. And let's get Mike the ability to be a pilot trainer by getting Freda a plane that Mike can train them in flying, and so on and so on and so on.
First of all, I just want a home, chat. Help me get a home.
Okay,
all right, everybody. Thank you so much. Do you guys want to do one more shout outs for yourselves? And then I know you guys are busy and you need to get on your horse. So why don't we do that? What do you guys want to promote among yourselves?
You first.
The Reaction Podcast. It's very good. I also stream, I guess. It's a thing.
And you should go to the Patreon for the Reaction Podcast. Subscribe right now. Check out the YouTube to listen to the podcast there, because that's like the easiest, most accessible way to I think a lot of the people here to listen to it.
But okay.
Yeah, but then also I am also a YouTuber, and I'm going to be releasing a video I think this month about the World War II bombing of the town that I live in, going around taking some pictures, taking some videos on how the Americans and the British tried to destroy a Nazi U-boat pen, and guess what? It's still fucking there.
Look at this keychain.
Yeah, I think that's.
Do you see the keychain?
You should jiggle in front of chat. Jiggle in front of chat and tell them to subscribe to Patreon.
So this is a keychain. That's all I'm promoting. No, in all seriousness, thank you guys, gals, non-binary pals, for hanging out with me today. We appreciate you.
Us. For a communist, he has.
Yeah, for all of us, I appreciate. We appreciate. Make sure you subscribe to the Reaction Podcast. Amazing hype train. You got Nick one again.
Yeah, thank you all so much for the support.
Appreciate you all for the support. You won, yeah.
Chat. 3-1, motherfucker. 3-1-0. 3-1-0. You'll get there, Mike.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, you don't have to rub it in. And it's always a pleasure to have you guys on. This is
I need
honestly...
tone codes.
You didn't have us on. We co-streamed, Mike. Co-stream.
But on together, collectively pulling together. It's amazing. All right, guys. I love you.
It very much so is. I love both of you. I love you. Genuinely, I do. Genuinely, I do. You're cunts, but I really love you.
Check out the newest episode this Saturday.
And follow all the other creators and all the fucking other shit. Yes. And seriously, Saturday, very good episode. Support the show on Patreon, or we're gonna have to remove one of the hosts because we can't afford it otherwise. Which probably
you goes first.
Are you trying to get people not to subscribe?
He's on the chopping block now.
Yeah, you go first. All right.
They get rid of the managers first. That's
that's
how it goes. That's how it goes. Rest in peace. Ajde, mršu pičku materinu.
All right, love you guys. Bye bye.
All right. Love you.
Alrighty, folks. I hope you enjoyed the Reaction Podcast co-stream. Yay! We haven't done one of those in a while. I know how much you guys love those. I think we're done co-streaming, right? Or no? Have I not ended it? How do I end it? Okay. Okay, got it. There it is. Okay. Awesome. Woo! Okay. Freda mentioned he could possibly get Professor Dave. Oh, that would be awesome. That would be so fucking awesome. All right, what else were we talking about today? So today was a little bit of an annoying day. I am not gonna lie, you know, with the drama before the. Okay, what the fuck? Are we? Did I fix everything? Are we no longer? Is everything working again? Okay. Are we no longer? Is everything working again? Okay. Okay. Awesome. Oh, no camera. Whoops. Boom. We're back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. The stream is back. We are all back. Awesome. What was I going to say? More polling is dropped for Abdul El Sayed. He has the AARP just dropped a poll, him winning. We have yesterday, we had a big poll showing him up by 7. And now everybody is slowly, all the pollsters who were like, Abdul's going to lose, are now slowly starting to drop polls showing him winning. Wow, I can't believe it, chat. I can't believe the polls are all changing.
HASAN PIKER, the progressive.
Okay, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, yeah. The way that the funniest thing happened, I wish we had a compilation of this. All the times that HASAN PIKER was injected into conversations when he has never even campaigned with Nixon.
Let's get back to the election results because we'll start with the bad news first. There was some really good news, though. The bad news is that Oliver Larkin was easily defeated by Jared Moskowitz. And look, though, it was always going to be a very uphill battle in that district. Conservative district, became more conservative, Zionist district. But Larkin and DSA's organizing in South Florida is going to keep going on, and there will be an infrastructure there.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially the way Oliver came on strong in media appearances toward the end of it, that is useful. It's useful to develop those sorts of things. DSA does need to get good at selling itself in these hostile media environments because they've basically been drafted to the top of politics in a very short time. And to see somebody like Oliver navigate those waters and especially towards the end, every appearance went well for him.
Yeah. I mean, he's just phenomenally smart and telegenic and good on his feet. So he has a bright future. Debbie Wasserman Schultz also won her race, as I mentioned, against Manley, which is really unfortunate. Lots of name recognition there. But the big story out of Florida is Angie Nixon. A massive upset. She defeated Alexander Vindman, and she'd raised less than $1 million, just under $1 million, and Vindman had over $16 million that he had fundraised. 16-1, and she didn't just squeak out a victory. She won by 12 points in Florida. Now, this guy Vindman served on Trump's National Security Council, and he was a whistleblower over in the first impeachment trial because he revealed the information that essentially Trump was trying to pressure Zelensky to investigate Joe Biden. Now, we're seeing this as a theme.
And by the way, nobody gave a shit about that. Nobody cares. Like, the resistance one is dead. Nobody gives a fuck. Absolutely nobody gives a fuck. And it's been proven definitively. In fact, it's now being reported on as just kind of accepted wisdom, which is the resistance, so-called the resistance, that's fucking over, man. It's interesting. I got a call from the National Democrats for Abdul to attend a canvas launch. Also, the commercials changed from all pro Mike Rogers ads to anti like overnight. Yeah, no shit. What do you think about the conversation of having Oliver be a national spokesman for DSA? Do we risk Jamie Harrising ourselves, or is the calculus different because of his district being a hellscape? I believe that Oliver has been an able advocate for DSA during his campaign. I think he's done a good job on television. I think that other DSA appearances have not been as successful as his. And That to me, ladies and gentlemen, is more useful. That being said, like, I don't like to rush into any kind of decision. But if it's him versus the other people we've seen so far, I think he's doing outstanding. The insurgent left cares more about its own factional agenda than the president's threats to democracy. By a factional fighter. It's been cut rough set of primaries for Heroes of the Resistance 1.0. People want to move on. And that's the reality, is that Resistance 1 failed. It's not that people hate it. It's that it failed. From the Atlantic, have they always been this gross? Yes. Yes. The Atlantic has always sucked. Well, it did used to suck when it was an anti-slavery magazine, but that was a very long time ago. Congressional, national trend, and state map for generic congressional ballot. And here's the state level opinion. Now, I got to tell you, chat, I think that Ohio and I think that Florida are definitely winnable. In fact, you know, if I'm being completely honest with you, if you said, Mike, you have $50 million, would you rather give it to Talrico or Nixon? I'd give all $50 million to Nixon.
Across this election cycle, that associations with Trump impeachment, anger at Trump was significant. It wasn't as bad as it is right now. And Gillum came within 0.5 percentage points of defeating Ron DeSantis. 34,000 votes was the difference out of 8 million votes cast. So don't tell me that Angie Nixon can't pull this off, especially when you listen to her talk. Here she is last night at her victory speech talking about her race.
Work 3 jobs just to keep a roof over their heads is extreme. They call me extreme. But where I come from, okay, right here in Duval County, these things are not radical. That's right. They're not extreme. This is just basic human decency. Yeah, their actions tell a very different story. But we put actions behind our words. So Ashley Moody can call it whatever she wants. She can call us whatever she wants. But in November, she will call me senator.
Oh, man.
Like, people were so surprised that she won. She didn't even really have a stage. Like, I know that they're saying, I know she's presenting herself as being like confident that she's gonna win and everything, and all that's very good and all. Like, I'm not trying to distract from that at all. But let's be honest, they didn't expect it. And my feeling about that is, this is what I've been saying to everybody. Run for shit! Just fucking run for shit! Instead of being precious and trying to make us, you know, win every race and get 100% win rate, run for shit! And if your campaign doesn't catch on, then it doesn't catch on. But if you do a good job, if you build up something, a lot of people are going to slip under the radar. There's going to be a bunch of conservative Democrats that rest on their laurels. And we've seen that with Francesca Hong. We've seen that now with Angie Nixon. We have seen that around the country, is that sometimes they see us coming and they have a strong response and we lose. But a lot of the time, like Nithya Raman, I'm sorry, but I really appreciate that she ran for mayor of Los Angeles. Okay? The fact that she just said, fuck it, and did it, fuck it, we ball, that's awesome. That's good. I'm tired of socialists and leftists waiting their turn and being too conservative in their opportunities. Run for shit. Do you think Talrico would bend the knee to DSA if we take over Texas? Absolutely not. Talrico will probably be one of our biggest ops. Talrico will be going around going, I think that DSA left and AOC are too far left for Texans. And the only reason we have a majority is because we've been able to reach across the aisle and, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's going to be, he's going to be our biggest op. What do you want me to say? I've kept quiet for one reason and one reason only. the more spaces where the Republicans are on defense, the easier it is for our people. I'm going to focus on our people and helping them get across the finish line, whether that's William Lawrence, whether that's Abdul, whether that's Angie Nixon, whether that's Troy Jackson. I want to have the progressives win. That's where I'm going to be focusing my energy. I'm not, I'm not here shitting on all these, centrists yet, because it doesn't serve my interest. It doesn't serve my interest. I want the Republicans on the back heel, and that's my goal. But keep your eyes on the prize. We have one candidate for president. Her name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Until there is a definitive her not doing it, she is the front runner. She is our gal. We're going to have her back as much as we can. When she makes mistakes, we'll criticize her to make her better. That's the kind of way that I want all of you guys to approach politics going forward for people on the left. When I criticize them, I want to criticize them in a helpful way to make them better. I am not criticizing them as a way of excluding them or excommunicating them or running down their approval or shitting on them or attacking the base. No more. We're not tolerating that anymore because we're in a factional struggle and we need our people strong and hale. Think of it like when a boxer goes to the corner at the end of the round and the boxing coach steps into the ring and the cut man goes to work on their face and he says, hey, you've been a little bit slow with your left. You've been dropping your elbow and that's making you vulnerable to a straight on shot. So keep your arms a little bit further out. Don't tuck in so much. Give yourself more space to move, more space to react. You've been leaning on the balls of your feet. Try to stay, try not to lean forward so much. Put yourself more steady. We are there to help them land more punches, not rain punches on them while they're trying to rest. You understand what I'm saying? Think more like a boxing coach rather than, I don't know what people even trying to do most of the time, to be honest with you. What's my recent criticism of AOC? I just wish she was endorsed more. That would be my criticism of her. I would like her to endorse more. Speaking of which, AOC just endorsed Maki. AOC has just endorsed Green New Deal co-sponsor Ed Maki. Now, this is obviously a defensive endorsement. I think she should be more on the offense, but it's another endorsement. It's for a relatively good, because Seth Moulton is a right winger. He's challenging Ed Markey from the right. And if Ed Markey were to fall to Moulton, that would be horrible. That would pull the country to the right.
Senator Ed Markey is earning an endorsement from New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The two worked together to introduce the Green New Deal in 2019, which was a massive bill that aimed to address climate change and add jobs. Ocasio-Cortez highlighted Markey's experience in politics, saying, at a time when powerful special interests are making life harder for everyday Americans, Massachusetts working families need a champion in the U.S. Senate to stand up for them and fight corporate greed. Ed Markey has spent his career doing exactly that. Senator Markey is a primary challenge from Congressman Seth Moulton. Moulton has made Markey's age a central issue in the race, saying there needs to be a generational change in the Senate in the primary.
A generational change. Now, here's the thing about generations, right? Seth Moulton may be younger, but his ideas are older. Ed Markey represents the left-wing faction of the party who didn't have their time in power, whereas Seth Moulton represents the status quo. So by electing Seth Moulton, you actually take the ideas of the Democratic Party back in time and you make them old. How old? 1992 old. 34 or 30 years ago. They're slowly pushing Ossoff into the algorithm. What is our strategy for the primaries when he fakes being progressive? We're going to start playing he doesn't support Medicare for all. He doesn't support a Green New Deal. We need to start getting all the times he said he support anything positive about Israel. We need to start getting those clips. Can you guys start pulling together some clips of Ossoff saying stuff about Israel? I'm going to start posting that. I'm going to start posting like negative Ossoff clips because I have the ability to kind of like start the conversation. I'm not somebody who can control the discourse, but I certainly can affect the discourse. If you guys can pull together some really anti-Ossoff clips, Laken Riley Act, all sorts of stuff like that, we can start damaging his reputation, which is obviously very important.
First, but early voting.
So Ed Markey got the AOC endorsement, and that's golden. We like that. I'm and Ed Markey, even though I have problems with him, I don't know. I have a soft spot for him. I think his one ad was so good from last time he got primaried. He got primaried from the right by the Kennedy, who he fucking beat down.
There's an invisible contract we all signed at birth. A promise. Every hour we work means longer days of freedom and security. It paved the road in your neighborhoods, and it added up to a country. But when crisis hit, Trump's government abandoned America. We asked what we could do for our country. They looked for what they could take. But there's a truth written in every history book. If you break the sacred contract, the people make a revolution. All across America, the essential people are demanding a new deal. Well, they call me the deal maker.
Ed Markey's desk was thrown out in the hall by the State House bosses. Markey's bill is now the law.
I'm Ed Markey. I'm running for Congress because I want to fight for the principles that I believe in. The bosses may tell me where to sit. No one tells me where to stand.
My father was a union leader. He taught me, don't beg for your rights, organize and take them. So in January, I was the first senator to write to Trump. I warned him we needed a plan. I talked to the Democrats and the Republicans. I told them we've got to save the fishermen. A month later, we had $300 million for our fishing industry. Trump wanted to cheap out, but I helped negotiate $600 a week for any American struggling to find their next gig. They thought the son of a milkman couldn't learn the rules. I made new ones. I don't need to get on the phone and talk to lobbyists to know what working people think. I get on the streets and I listen.
I've got a question for 1 million people. Do you want to freeze the arms race?
I put the deal on the table, but the people make it impossible to refuse. With 500 laws on the books, you think I'm going to stop now? They wish.
Green New Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Ed Markey introduced their Green New Deal
to stop climate change and create millions of good jobs in the process.
We got to absolutely crush Donald Trump in November. But if we're going to end this era of chaos, that won't be enough. We got to make sure President Biden signs the Green New Deal. We can't wait.
He did not sign it.
We've got to have folks in the United States Senate who are willing to stand up for working people. That's who Ed Markey is. I need Ed Markey in the United States Senate.
We used the old Obama
We asked
clip.
what we could do for our country. We went out. We did it. With all due respect, it's time to start asking what your country can do for you.
Now, start asking what your country could do for you. He was running against a Kennedy. So he was dunking on a Kennedy. So he was saying, nah, actually, we should ask our country what it could do for us. They fucking hate Ed Markey. Like, the establishment hates Ed Markey, even though he's been there for so long. They never give the left-wing or more progressive senators a pass. There you go. And I think this is one of the best ads I've seen. I've never, I think this is one of the best ads that kind of like a progressive. And like, if you're wondering where he is ideologically, we just have the left tracker. We just have the left tracker. We go to the congressional left tracker. We click set it. Oh, Ed Markey, 92.9. People act like JFK was killed because he was anti-establishment. I think it's pretty reasonable to say that he was killed because he was trying to rein in the intelligence agencies. So there you go. I mean, is he perfect? No, but Ed Markey, he needs to win. So, obviously he blocked money to Israel, stuff like that. He did vote to fund Israel and Ukraine and Taiwan, which only Bernie voted against, which is a little annoying. That's where his 92 comes from. But he voted against the war in Iran, etc., etc. Because they tried to do this thing, like the Biden administration did this thing where they packaged everything together so that people would be like, you're voting against Ukraine? You're voting against Ukraine? You must like Trump. That was a Biden administration maneuver. Adam Schiff is the 6th most left senator. Wow, our Senate is cooked. Yes, it is. That's why they hate Abdul so much. That's why they're mad about Angie Nixon winning. The Senate is bad. And by the way, chat, Mike was right. Remember how I told you Kamala Harris would fall off and AOC would rise? This chart dropped yesterday. Voters under the age of 50. Kamala Harris declining, and the person who's gaining, AOC, and the person who had that little bump but is falling off, Gavin Newsom, is orange, AOC is pink, Kamala Harris is light blue, Buttigieg in black, and John Ossoff in gold. You notice how he's getting that little bump. He's basically picking up the Newsom voters. Newsom, the non-Harris, non-AOC voters are cycling between various white men. You know, the various white men they cycle between. So hopefully, I think personally, part of this is my analysis, and part of it is what I want to happen. Part of it is what I believe will happen, but part of it is what I want to happen. Does that make sense? Which is like, I believe that AOC's views and her platform and what she stood for and her popularity will coalesce into holding the left-wing lane, and that will make her into a front runner. That's what I want to happen, but I also believe it will happen. They put Buttigieg as black because he got 0% polling in the black community. I honestly truly think that the person who I have the least in common with of all political viewpoints is probably someone who likes Pete Buttigieg. I think I have less in common with somebody that likes Pete than any other group. I think it's fucking weird. I think it's absolutely, like, every other person on the list I could kind of understand supporting. Like, John Ossoff is like, he's gone viral a few times, he has that he pulls off the Obama, but a kirked up white boy a lot better. He has made some strong statements on Israel, even though he's pro-Israel. I can kind of understand getting caught in the like medium low information voter liking John Ossoff. I get it. Kamala Harris, I get it. She was just the nominee. She's the vice president, super famous black woman, in many ways an important first in American history. I get it. I don't agree, but I can understand it. But Pete Buttigieg, the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, the fucking fixed bread prices McKinsey consultant, he's 5'8". Like, he was a transportation secretary and everything fucking blew up. And it was a horrible transportation secretary who broke helped lead the break of a railway workers strike because he couldn't properly pressure the freight companies. The guy, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Horrible. Pete Buttigieg, are you short shaming? No, I'm not short shaming. I'm just saying that it's very rare for a man that short to become president. Again, senator, sure. Representative, sure. President? Don't listen to the mic. You're in the right. I'm just saying, like, come on, man. And the other thing is, he's fucking weird. He gives out terrible vibes. And this is the most important thing. Black people do not fuck with him. And he's been in the national conversation for 6 years. And black people do not fuck with him at all. That's crazy. It's also very rare for a woman to become president. Listen, I think people would be much more willing to vote for a woman than a man like Pete. He's just ain't it, guys.
All right, that little, we're good, I think. That little look in her eye that she gave of determination, it's just, I mean, that's the kind of thing where it's catnip for me. I'm like already juiced up. I want a phone bank for her tomorrow.
Yeah, like I have my biases. I obviously think this is more even electable than something like Vindman. I generally think like you could say maybe...
How many times are the centrist Democrats going to try their tactic of basically running a Republican? Before they say, okay, it failed 20 fucking times. Can we try something new? And maybe it doesn't work, but at least we try something new. It's like throwing fastballs and the opponent hits a home run. Like 10 guys have hit a home run in a row off the fastball. Can you try a curve? Can you try a fucking curve? Can you try a changeup? Can we do something a little different? Can we maybe throw a shift out there? Can you do something?
I'm agnostic about which one
Can I
might
vote
be
back for her? Of course.
more electable in general. Well, the voters have spoken overwhelmingly, and this is who they want to take into battle for this. And this is going to be such a better campaign because it's going to be about. I mean, not that Trump corruption on the global stage is not real, but it is disconnected from people's day-to-day life. That stuff they don't feel like they have any empowered over at all anyway.
Yeah, right. I mean, and like, how has it gone to run former Republicans all the goddamn time? Well, we just showed it in that race in the primary.
Yep.
But in the general election, they've been getting their clocks cleaned by the actual Republicans. We see this time and time again. They've lost the electability argument as well, and people just need to get hip to it at this point, but there's a lot of money that's preventing people from understanding that this is what's electable. I mean,
this would be better at governing if she were to win.
Well, yeah, and when I say Gillum, I bring up Gillum because he won that primary as the progressive in the race and almost defeated DeSantis in a midterm year that favored Democrats. And it's a tragedy what's happened to him dealing with addiction. But the Democratic Party in Florida has become a ghost ship. It's a skeleton. There's no one driving the ship, so that presents a real opportunity for the left. And
that's the thing, though. The Florida Democratic Party represents the Democratic Party as a whole. They have slow walked us into disaster. They've slow walked us into destruction. They've slow walked us into defeat. And then they never try anything new, and they just become more and more and more irrelevant and less and less and less. So it went from being a top swing state to literally deep red, and they're still doing the same shit.
They can fill that vacuum if they need to, because the Florida Democratic Party has been so ineffective and abandoned. Here is State Representative Angie Nixon in the state government in 2023. I believe we played this clip back right as the genocide was beginning in Gaza, and this took so much courage. She introduced a resolution in the Florida House calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. If you recall, there were only a handful of members of the House. I don't even think any senators were really calling for a ceasefire for the first few weeks. I mean, maybe Bernie got on board soon, but not. I don't think
no, he
now.
said Bernie unfortunately said he doesn't know how you can reach a ceasefire with a group like Hamas.
Yes, right. So this is November 2023. You just had AOC and Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and Summer Lee in that group. Delia Ramirez, I don't want to leave people out, Diana Presley, but the group of progressives in the House that were behind the ceasefire resolution at this time. Here's Angie Nixon in the Florida House making that case.
We are at 10,000 dead Palestinians. How many will be enough?
Okay, so pause it for a sec. They show it on the screen in the caption. That is Representative Salzman, Michelle Salzman, Republican, I'd imagine, saying all of them off mic.
One of my colleagues just said all of them. Wow. One of my colleagues said all of them. One of my colleagues also stated that this is going to dry up their fundraising if we vote on this resolution. I also want that, that's what we've become in this state. That's what we've become in this state, where we don't care about innocent babies that don't even get the opportunity to blow out their first birthday candle.
Go to war for her. I mean, I'm happy for you guys in Florida too. It's a very populous state, and you haven't had a real candidate to vote for in quite a while, unless you're in one of these districts. I mean, in the general election. I mean, since Gillum in 2018, and I think Angie Nixon here, I mean, this is another level in terms of how we can get behind her. She's phenomenal. I'm very, very excited about this, and we'll see. As I said, real uphill battle, but I'm gonna make a guess that it's gonna be competitive.
It'd be a bigger message than even Saeed winning if she won Florida.
Yes. Yes, it would be. And I can't even begin to think about the possibility and how drunk I will get on election night if that happens. Not really, but I will be celebrating.
Or how drunk you get if she doesn't.
Yeah, it could go either way.
Still processing. Somebody said all of them. It's called being a Republican Southerner. And the thing is, like, 90% of people agree with you. And the more that, and that's why we can't fight. That's why we can't fight them by doing this bipartisanship bullshit. We have to draw a clear contrast and say, this is the party of Jeffrey Epstein and genocide. 70% of people will be with us. We have to draw a contrast. We cannot be spending our time going, we need a strong Republican Party, because that gives people permission to vote Republican. We need to make voting Republican unacceptable. Just the same way they try to make voting to the left unacceptable. You don't see them going, we got to reach across the aisle with the socialists. We got to reach across the aisle with the lefties. Why don't they do that? If that hurts us, if reaching across the aisle hurts the group you're reaching across, why aren't they doing that to us? They must really love us then.
Yes, but
drink when you win, drink when you lose.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, just to add to some of the good news here, I mean, look, these are all Republicans, so we're talking about varying degrees, but this is, I think, an interesting development that Trump is not doing so well with his endorsements in Florida as well. He went 0 for 3 last night. Aaron Blake here, reporter, if we could put this up, compiled this list of Trump losses from his endorsements in the primary season. He writes here that 10 Trump-endorsed candidates have now lost this primary season, including 6 in the last 2 weeks and 3 on Tuesday alone. Those 10 losses are as much as Trump suffered in 2018, 2020, and 2024 combined.
Yeah.
And it's one shy of
Trump's
matching
endorsement is not mattering as much.
His worst year, 2022.
Wyoming can't, like, he loses in Wyoming a lot, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, but that's interesting because Wyoming in 2024 was the state where he had the highest margin of victory.
Right.
So he lost, his gubernatorial pick lost, and then you had Corey Mills in Florida, who was accused of domestic violence and sexual misconduct, under investigation by the House right now. He lost. And then Catalina Lauf, former Commerce Department advisor in his administration, also lost her race.
You can't count Lindell against me. I had to endorse him,
Exactly.
but even I didn't think he was going to win.
I mean, but yeah, look at that, Andy Ogles. So, and the fact that Blake points out here that this happened, we could take it down, in the last few weeks would also match with what we're seeing with his historically low approval rating, and also, you know, genuine anger about the economy, the war in Iran, and more. So, mostly, you know, a mixed bag in results yesterday, but I think that this Angie Nixon victory is such a big fish that we have to be celebrating today for sure.
Hey, folks. All right, chat. I don't know if you saw this, guys, but I went on MS Now. Are you guys surprised that I went on MS? I went on MS Now. Can you believe it? And I really gave Hakeem Jeffries the business.
I don't support the DSA agenda as has been articulated by the DSA itself. Now, you're going to have individual members who have been elected in Democratic primaries, and if they are elected in the general in November, will be part of the House Democratic Caucus. It's going to be a broad caucus. There will be progressives, there will be New Dems, there will be Blue Dogs. What I'm excited about...
And grew like 8 inches. That's what I said when I saw your mom. I grew 8 inches then, too.
The candidates who are running to flip seats in November to deliver us a majority that pushes back against Donald Trump's extremism and moves the country in the right direction.
That was House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries on Sunday discussing the party's midterm candidates who have aligned with the Democratic Socialists of America.
The beach that
Joining
makes
us now
you
for debate on the
old.
subject, former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio.
The Blue Dogs have run the party since Bill Clinton. It's time for new ideas. Actually, I think it's accurate to say that the neoliberals have run the Democratic Party since 1976. That's when the party really started to break from labor and start to trash a lot of the old New Deal coalition. You might even say that it really shattered. The beginning of the end happened with the Vietnam War. If LBJ had not pursued the Vietnam War, then the New Deal coalition would not have broken, and we probably never have Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan is the result of losing Vietnam. and how the new left fractured from organized labor, because organized labor backed LBJ to the hilt. And that's when the kind of like culture war shit between like long-haired hippies and like the like the working man started to kick off. And that really hurt the left. So I would say overall Vietnam War was extremely bad. There was something called the Hard Hat Riot, which was super bad. Hard Hat Riot. This is when the left started to get fucked in America. Like truly was fucked. Very important point. Oh, it's a film? Jesus Christ. The clash over Vietnam that swung blue collars to the right. Yeah. Oh, God, dude.
Had made. And FDR's new
on the sidewalk, and we thought that
blue collar America nationwide in the years to come.
It is a fact, I think, that civilization throughout history has risen or fallen according to the strength of the central city area. And the reason one has got to operate under the assumption that these great cities are not only governable but can be civilized is that there is no alternative.
Hey, you know who's managed to do that? China!
My background was very much like the other people at City Hall, the mayor's assistants, sort of an upwardly mobile, college-educated group.
Here's a short video by Robert Reich. Oh, this might be better.
Missing from most history books is a key moment leading to the culture wars now ripping through American politics. In 1970, hundreds of construction workers pummeled around 1,000 student demonstrators in New York City, including two of my friends. The Hard Hat Riot, as it came to be known, ushered in an era of cynical fear-mongering aimed at dividing the nation. The student demonstrators were protesting the Vietnam War and the deadly shooting of 4 student activists at Kent State University that occurred just days before. The workers who attacked them carried American flags and chanted USA all the way and America love it or leave it. They chased the students through the streets, attacking those who looked like hippies with their hard hats and steel-toed boots. When my friends in the anti-war movement called to tell me about the riot later that day, I was stunned. Student activists and union workers duking it out in the streets over the war? I mean, for goodness sake, weren't we on the same side? According to reports, the police did little to stop the mayhem. Some even egged on the thuggery. When a group of hard hats moved menacingly toward the action, a patrolman apparently shouted, "Give 'em hell, boys. Give 'em one for me." The construction workers then marched toward a barely protected city hall. Why? Because the mayor's staff had lowered the American flag in honor of the Kent State dead. In a scene eerily foreshadowing the January 6th Capitol riot, they pushed their way toward the building. Fearing the mob would break in, city officials raised the flag. The hard hats also ripped down the Red Cross banner that was hanging at nearby Trinity Church. And in their fury against university students protesting the war, they stormed a nearby Pace University building, smashing lobby windows with their tools and beating students and professors. Around 100 people were wounded that day, most of whom were college students. Several police officers were also hurt. 6 people were reportedly arrested, but only 1 construction. My friends escaped injury, but they were traumatized. The Hard Hat Riot had immediate political consequences. It was, in my opinion, a seminal moment in America's culture wars. Then President Richard Nixon exploited the riot for political advantage. His administration had been working on a blue-collar strategy to shift white working-class voters to the Republican Party. "Thank God for the hard hats," Nixon exclaimed when he heard about the riot. But rather than passing pro-labor policies to court workers, which would go against the values of the pro-business Republican Party, Nixon sought to use cultural issues like patriotism and support for the troops to drive a wedge between factions of the Democratic Party, workers without college degrees and progressives. Nixon invited union leaders, some of whom were involved in the riot, to the White House. They presented Nixon with a hard hat inscribed with Commander-in-Chief and an American flag pin. Nixon praised the union workers as people from middle America who still have character and guts and a bit of patriotism. Nixon's strategy to use the Hard Hat Riot.
Now, this is some shit that unfortunately you're not going to get on a lot of other streams, which is something known as historical knowledge. No. Sorry. But in all seriousness, like, the Vietnam War was intensely partisan. And union workers had backed LBJ and Hubert Humphrey intensely against the escalating disapproval of anti-war activists on the left. And it was Richard Nixon that used that wedge to basically strike a fatal, wounding blow to the New Deal coalition. And we have, because just 5 years ago, union workers had marched with civil rights activists in the March on Washington. They had, you know, the UAW had been a leading funder of the civil rights movement. So we went from America's labor unions and our progressives marching arm in arm to make the country better and to support the Great Society, which was LBJ's program that included things like Medicare and Medicaid, to a conflagration over the war that LBJ pursued in Vietnam.
To appeal to blue-collar voters paid off. In his 1972 re-election campaign against the anti-war Democrat George McGovern, Nixon secured a victory with ease and gained the majority of votes from organized labor. The only time in modern history...
The thing about McGovern is he was anti-union. McGovern was anti-union. This is what people don't know. They say he's like anti-war Democrat. He's some hippy-dippy left-leaning, you know, guy. But McGovern was anti-union. In fact, he was so anti-union during the Obama administration, he recorded an argument against card check. Here it is, 17 years ago. George McGovern on Fox News.
Harris, thanks. There's a new measure in Congress that could drastically change things in the place that you work. It's called the Employee Free Choice Act. Critics say if passed, it could deny workers the right to a secret ballot when they vote on whether or not to join a union. Former Senator and presidential nominee George McGovern is one of this measure's biggest critics. He joins us now live. Senator McGovern, it's good to speak to you. The employee...
Nice to be on your program.
The Employee Free Choice Act sounds like a good thing. Great name. Are there details behind the name?
Again, this was organized labor's most important bill of the Obama era, and it was defeated, by the way, because of people like George McGovern.
That you don't like?
Yes, there are, because under the new proposal, workers would have the opportunity to get a union without a secret ballot. They could be pressed into a union being ordered by the National Labor Relations Board if 50% plus one, 51% of the workers sign this so-called card check system.
So basically what the law was trying to do is, right now in America, you sign a union card, right? And then once you get to a majority of the bargaining group, you then file a request to be recognized by the union. And what companies could do is they can deny your request to be recognized as a union and call for a National Labor Relations Board election. And so the National Labor Relations Board has to come, set up an election, and then the company has the right to do what's known as captive audience meetings, where they get all the workers together and they yell at them about how bad joining a union would be, and if they join a union, blah 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 blah, about how you're not gonna get anything, and you know you might lose, the factory might close, and blah blah blah, and then they do, quote, a secret ballot election, right? So no other country in the world does shit like this. It's fucking insane. Whereas card check would just be, if 51% or 50% plus one of workers want to be represented by a union, then the company has to recognize them as a union and get to bargaining a contract. We don't have to go through like multiple step process with all sorts of like union propaganda forced on the employees by the employer. And we just say, hey, if 50% of people want to join a union, they start to represent the workers and they get to working on a fair contract, right? That was card check. And this motherfucker is out there trying to block it, and he succeeded. And this is what people will tell you is a left wing, by the way. They'll say, this guy is left wing. This is the left wing presidential candidate, which proves the left can never win.
Anytime under the new law,
what's the purpose of having the names be public? Your name isn't public. It's just you sign the card. It's not about your name being public. It's about you sign the card, which you already had to do in the old system. In the old system, you still had to have people publicly sign a union card. So this is not about privacy. This is about ending the unnecessary extra steps before a union is recognized. And people, they don't have to sign the union card. Say no.
Had 51% of their members signing these cards, the National Labor Relations Board would declare that there is a union in that particular plant without a free election, which we now have. In other words, if union organizers went into a plant and got 51% of the workers to sign these cards, automatically the plant would be declared a union plant. Now, I want to make it clear that I'm sympathetic to unions. I think they've done remarkably good things for the benefit of workers, but they should not be declared a union plant simply on the basis of signing these cards, which is what would happen under the new law.
It seems like there's nothing more American than a secret ballot, and you're saying that the prospects of a secret ballot go away from the workplace if this thing gets passed.
That could happen. I believe that the system we have in the United States, where if you're voting for the President of the United States, if you're voting for a congressperson, if you're voting for a United States senator.
So this is who they claim is left-wing, by the way.
War Democrat George McGovern, Nixon secured a victory with ease and gained the majority of votes from organized labor, the only time in modern history a Republican presidential candidate accomplished such a feat. The Hard Hat riot revealed a deep fracture in the coalition of workers and progressives that FDR had knitted together in the 1930s, and the later alliance of black Americans, liberals, and blue-collar whites that led to Lyndon Johnson's landslide re-election in 1964. The mostly white construction workers who attacked the demonstrators had felt abandoned and forgotten as the civil rights movement rightfully took hold. They felt stiffed by the clever college kids with draft deferments and burdened by an economy no longer guaranteeing upward mobility. The class and race-based tensions that Nixon exploited would worsen over the next half-century. I witnessed this when I was Secretary of Labor during the Clinton administration. I spent much of my time in the Midwest and other parts of the country where blue-collar workers felt abandoned in an economy dominated by Wall Street. I saw their anger and resentment. I heard their frustration. In my view, the Democratic Party has not done enough to respond, as Republicans have destroyed unions, exacerbated economic inequality through trickle-down economic nonsense, tried to gut just about every social safety net we have, and stood in the way of practically every effort to use the power of government to help working people. Today, the right is trying to channel that same anger and violence against the Black Lives Matter movement, the LGBTQ+ community, especially transgender people and drag queens, and whatever else they consider woke. It's the same cynical ploy to instill a fear of the other as a means to distract from the oppression and looting being done by the oligarchs who dominate so much of our economy and our politics. As such, today we face the same questions we faced in 1970. Will we finally recognize that we have more in common with each other than with those who seek to divide us for political and economic gain? Can we unite in solidarity and build a future in which prosperity is widely shared by all? I truly believe that we can.
Anyway, history lesson for everybody. You're welcome. Hope everybody kind of understands what's been going on. Now back to me on MSNBC.
And MS Now political analyst Matthew Bartlett. Matthew is a former Trump appointee at the State Department during Trump's first administration. My thanks to you both for being here. Mr. Mayor, we'll start with you. You're not a member of DSA, not a socialist, but certainly a progressive politician. Why do you think right now there is so much energy in that part of the party, the real left part of the Democratic Party?
First of all, Jonathan, that part of the party cannot be blamed for the status quo in this country. And this is really, really important. I think mainstream Democrats unfortunately, were identified with elitism in many ways. They were identified with complacency. They were seen as out of touch. That's the story of 2024. If we in 2024 had a vigorous message of change and separating from some of the things that didn't go so well for Joe Biden, I think we win that election, honestly. But now you've got candidates. It helps that they are charismatic. It helps that they're young and energetic. But they also can say plausibly, we didn't create this situation, and we're offering really sharp change. And when you look at the polling, it's quite striking. You know, I respect Hakeem Jeffries a lot, but I disagree with him when he said on Sunday he wouldn't vote for Medicare for all. That's a majority position in America now. Higher taxes on millionaires and billionaires, majority position. Changing our policies in the Middle East, getting out of the Iran war, majority positions. So I think these new candidates, it's not about the DSA platform. It's about they represent actually views that are increasing where the American people are. And a lot of them are just good candidates, dynamic candidates.
So what do you say, though? There's a fear among some Democrats that they think that the Republicans will take these DSA members or DSA-aligned candidates and then put them up as a symbol and say, this is what the whole Democratic Party stands for. And they paint with a broad brush. And that gives them an easy line of attack.
I'm really sick of the hand-wringing in the Democratic Party, honestly, because some of it is fear of change. You got these candidates winning fair and square. And the ones who are running good campaigns are winning. Mamdani, amazing campaign last year, I think set the message of affordability for the whole country. El Sayed won fair and square against massive resources. Hong didn't win, wasn't as good a candidate. I think we should recognize a primary process it's producing strong candidates. And we haven't always had that. Let's be honest. We lost in a lot of places in recent years we shouldn't have lost because we didn't have a sharp message. We didn't have strong candidates. This year may be one of the best crops of Democratic candidates, moderates and progressives. But everyone's talking about affordability with energy. That came from the left. Let's be honest about it.
I couldn't have said it better myself because I did say it because that's me. I gotta meet the mayor, the former mayor, Bill de Blasio. I think Bill de Blasio, in many ways, is the most underrated politician of the last 20 years. Sort of like me. I'm the most underrated streamer of the last 20 years. But it's okay. It's all right. I don't mind it. I'll get over it. Would it create a rift in the time-space continuum if you met your future self? By the way, chat, William Lawrence, former DSA, in a tight swing district, just had a poll drop. Lawrence 49, Barrett 47. We gotta help this man. And before we go, Jared Moskowitz is now on Fox News.
So crazy just saying it? Well, you got people going on the campaign trail saying, you know, the Soviet Union wish they won the Cold War, dressing up as Mao. He only killed 50 million people. That is...
Okay, the idea that Mao killed 50 million people is absolutely idiotic. It gets to the point where that's just made up. All right? That's just made up. It is complete bullshit. China had a severe famine exacerbated by American sanctions and blockade, due in part to errors in collectivization of agriculture that was exacerbated by natural disasters, drought, locusts, and other forms of famine-causing disaster. All right? That's the truth. And it resulted in probably somewhere in the range of 10 to 15 million deaths. 50 million is totally fucking bullshit. But if you look at the history of China, they had many famines of similar size in the prior 150 years. The last famine in China was the Great Leap Forward. They have solved their food crisis, the Communist Party of China. So that's the reality. Saying Mao bears personal responsibility for that and that he killed, 50 million people, it's just bullshit. It's fucking crazy bullshit. And it's weird when people say it. Does that mean that Mao, was there not people that were mass killed during the revolution in ways that I don't agree with? Yes, of course that's true. But the United States of America killed tens of millions of African Americans in the Triangle Trade. We killed tens of millions of indigenous Americans. The British killed tens of millions in India. They forced the Irish famine, which was a genocide. Does all of that, is that capitalism? Is that, do you hear about, I don't know, who was even fucking prime minister during that period of the Irish potato famine? Who was the prime minister? Was it Pitt? Robert Peel. Have you ever heard Robert Peel is a genocider? Capitalism kills? Is it even that big of a deal in his history that he saw the famine and didn't give a fuck? 50 to 100 million Native Americans prior to colonization. But again, all that stuff is hand-waved. It's hand-waved. You know, what about the way that the enclosures were done? How many people died due to the enclosures? What about the Boer concentration camps? I'm literally asking you. Nobody gives a fuck. Concentration camps were invented by the British. I mean, it's just like, again, none of those crimes are attributed to capitalism, right? That was just the empire, as if those two are not inextricably linked. It's just baby shit.
It's not how we're going to win the House. It's not how we're going to win the Senate.
So I'll say
British colonialism have killed 100 million Indians in 40
at the polls,
years.
Obviously, he's behind.
Well, whoever wins that seat, they're going to vote the way PIKER tells them to vote.
Is that true?
Well, look, I obviously know the senator. He was a governor when I was a state rep, signed a bunch of my bills. And so, look, I think that the governor should stick to talking about jobs. He was very good on that when he spoke about that in Florida.
Are you afraid of HASAN PIKER?
No, I'm not afraid. HASAN hates me. He talks about me on his stream. I mean, Rick doesn't know what he's talking about there. Nobody in my district believes that I'm a HASAN PIKER guy. HASAN would want nothing to do with me. I want nothing to do with HASAN. And so at the end of the day, Rick just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, I believe that you are nothing like him, but would you love to see Hakeem Jeffries just say, look, there's no room for socialists in our party?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Democratic leadership needs to speak out against the DSA.
Like, you know, 35-40% of the people in his district voted for a socialist. You cannot win in an R+10 gerrymandered district, dumb fuck, without the entire Democratic Party united behind you. Which is why, you know, listen, I'll be completely honest with you, chat. I think if Jared Moskowitz lost, it would be a good thing. The less people we have like this that are holding positions of power in the party, the better. They, like, honest to God, I don't even think he can win, to be honest with you. But maybe the wave will be so big, it'll be carried by Nixon. Who knows?
Agenda.
What a complete loser. Who? And I gotta say, chat, I said this then, and I'll say it again. This motherfucker looks like an Oblivion NPC. Am I wrong? Am I fucking wrong? Does he not look like an Oblivion NPC? And then, or Elder Scrolls NPC, and then Vio quote tweeted me and got more likes. Motherfucker. Jared looks like an NPC from Elder Scrolls. 1.6K likes. And then look at this fucking thing. Oh my God. 6,000 likes? 6,000 likes? She just stole my joke, but added a picture. I got fucking mogged. Honestly, the Oblivion NPC looks better. Honestly, the Oblivion NPC is better looking. Why Azura? Mike steals a joke from the chat. Vio steals a joke from Mike. Circle of life. And it just doesn't end. Look at how much they're obsessed with HASAN PIKER.
You've campaigned with Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, Mr. PIKER. Do you want to...
Congratulations on winning one of the most impressive upsets in the history of American politics. Can we now talk about the most important issue of the day, HASAN PIKER?
See them on the campaign trail with you as well?
So I have not campaigned with Mr. PIKER. Not sure where that information came from. I have campaigned with Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. And so she is someone who wants the same things that I want, to make sure that government is working for people and not against it. And so I'll continue to do the same thing. But I have not campaigned with Mr. PIKER at all. Not sure where that came from.
All right, my apologies. I thought that you had. My apologies about that.
Honestly, the billionaires in our country are obsessed with HASAN. It's very scary. Billionaires in this country are obsessed with HASAN. Zionists in this country are obsessed with HASAN. It's fucking creepy, dude. If honestly, I don't know how HASAN keeps his cool. I'm under a little bit of pressure and I'm fine, you know. But HASAN is on a whole nother level, dude. Honestly, I don't think people recognize that enough and give him enough credit for the amount of hatred he gets. Is next fucking level, dude.
Would you want him to campaign with you?
I don't really know who Mr. PIKER is. I've heard about him, and so
you don't know who he is?
I said I don't really know who he is personally or anything like that. I am actually focused on Florida and making sure that I'm talking to voters here to uplift their needs and their concerns. And so that's what my focus is going to be over the next 76 days.
You've campaigned with Congresswoman.
It's just cringe. And ultimately, I feel like my ultimate feeling is what HASAN said yesterday.
Going forward, this is an Angie Nixon Stan account. Okay? If Angie Nixon wants our help, we will be there for her. If she wants it to be quiet on the background, I will do that. Whatever. If she says, I don't know HASAN PIKER, I don't want him anywhere near, I will never touch the state of Florida. I will never bring it up. Whatever she wants, we are her loyal soldiers. Okay?
Whatever she needs. Whatever she needs. But the other thing is, I don't think she should be scared. We have ride or dies. You know, we could drop 100,000, 200,000 calls. You know, that can make a little bit of a difference. That can make a difference. And if you look at like Oliver Larkin's performance, I got to be honest, he overperformed expectations. And he actually did really well with, like, for example, black voters. I think the campaign was outstanding. I just think the district sucks. Full of very wealthy Zionist voters who are like outside the mainstream. It was almost designed to be anti-Oliver Larkin district. It's a weird district.
That's it.
All right, everybody. That's going to be it for me. I'm going to send you guys, gals, non-binary pals, over to Little Bear, who I think is probably one of the most underrated streamers in the greater HASAN orbit. And all of us need to show absolute solidarity with LB, the best of the best. Thank you guys, gals, non-binary pals, for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out during the collaboration. We'll be back on our horse doing hardcore politics streams with just me for a while because you guys miss me and you get so mad whenever it's not just me. So it'll be me for a bit. God forbid I do an interview or a collaboration. 1,000 of you leave. What gives? All right, everybody. Stay safe. Solidarity forever. Socialism will win. And free Palestine. Also, subscribe to the Reaction Podcast. We've got banger after banger coming. All right, everybody. I'll see you soon. Peace out.